Oiler Insider, and Jersey Aficionado.
Minimo. Pedro Porro. Williams.
Yes. 60% talent, 40% Swedish hair cream.
With a party in the West. New Zealand has another major champion.
It's all gas, no brakes.
With a shotgun that's raked it directly to his left. Cody looks to his right. Bounce it around the pocket. Gets it away. Elks. TJ Luther's got his second of the year. And Edmonton goes back on top.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we're here to stay.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440.
Monday morning. Let's do it. Another week. Rock and roll, however you want to break it down. It's the Tom Gazzola Show, brought to you by Bet365 right here on Sports 1440. Hope you had an awesome weekend. Tom, Eddie Steele, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you as it's a rainy one out there. It's supposed to clear up, and then the smoke settles in. What the heck? Why? Why, Eddie?
Well, it's that time of the year, I guess. At least it's nice and warm out there, though, Tommy. It's unlike a morning like today. But what would you prefer? Would you prefer the rain that we've had through most of June?
No.
Or 28 and a little smoky out?
I don't even. Yeah, maybe 28 and a little smoky out because of all the rain. But we're getting rain right now, and it's like a pretty steady downpour.
It is. Here's hoping no flooding takes place in Edmonton.
Let's not. Positivity. Let's go. Of course, Bet365. Canada just hit the biggest home run of the summer. Bet365 is available in Alberta and here to stay. Download the app. Must be 18 plus to play. And please play responsibly. Text us 1-833-401-1440. A lot happened in the world of sports over the weekend. Big Elks win. You had the Open Championship. You had the World Cup final yesterday. Baseball was, swinging away again, which is great. And to discuss all of this and more, we've got a great show for you. Cordell Jackson, Elks DB, will be joining us after their win over the BC Lions. They get over the hump over the Lions. Defensive battle. No Beautiful. Run game, hey?
No run game virtually at whatsoever for either team.
Both teams, yeah.
Beautiful to see. It took me back about a decade ago to 2015.
Oh, you were dialed in. You were watching, and I was texting with you, and I like that. Did you have the whole family out? Is that
was the family, and then we had some friends in town as well. Okay. My wife's best friend and her husband came in from BC, stayed with us for the weekend. So you were out there grinding, Tommy G. Man, you were on the sidelines grinding.
I was doing my thing. Fenny was giving it to me on the sidelines. Saw Brando at the game.
I heard someone else too. There was that texter who texted in last week. They said, just acknowledge whoever's heckling you so it can be over with.
Yes.
And I heard that, and that wasn't Fenny, I don't think, because Fenny was a couple sections down.
Fenny was texting me. He's like, how dare you ignore me? And I'm like, what do you mean ignore? I'm not Fenny.
I'm working.
Oh, okay.
He was well lubricated.
Yes, he was. He had a couple of social sparklers, and then Brandon was working. What'd you think of the game, Brandon?
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. That's for sure. It bit of a slugfest, but credit to the Elks defense. They did their part, and they carried them throughout the course of that game, and seemed like field goals and one score were enough. And sometimes this is how the cookie crumbles, even if it's not necessarily what you'd expect going into it. It's how it plays out all the same.
They don't ask how, they ask how many.
Exactly.
That's what Cody Fajardo said to me. I just kind of looked at him because you do the walk-off interviews after. I shrugged him like, oh, that one. He's like, they don't ask how, they just ask how many. I'm like, that's 5-1. Yeah, good point. We'll also, catch up with Spec, obviously, on the mark at 8:00. And then Low Tide will join us. Mario Tirabassi. Oh, sounds like a Paisan. Nicely done, Brando. I like it. Big deal, big money for Connor Bedard. I know a lot of people were like, what's his contract going to look like? Well, we know now. 5 years, $75 million.
15 schmilly. What do you think about that? Right in
Pretty
where
good.
It should be? Not an overpay, probably, considering where the cap is going. I think that's a good deal for Chicago.
Yeah, investment in the future. Kind of. I know Well, Bedard's been good his first few years in the league. Is just his injuries becoming a concern.
Shoulders.
Right? The shoulder. You know, some guys, they get the chronic shoulder issue. Now, I can't remember if it was a different shoulder that he messed up this time around that he had to get surgery on, or if it was the same one that he messed up last year. But as Oscar Klefbom, as an example, I can imagine in football, shoulders are a big thing.
Oh,
too.
yeah, big time.
Yep.
Yeah, that AC joint.
Oh, yeah. Well, Jesse Lumsden.
Yeah, that was his career. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a pull. Good job, Tom.
Thank you. He was a good. I was excited when he signed with the Eskimos at the time. I'm like, this is going to be a good pickup. And I was sitting right in my seats when he got hurt, and it was in the rain that day. And you could see him going to the locker room, and I'm like, that's not good. And he barely played. He played a bit after that.
Yeah, it was a very short little run. And that's the thing with some of these injuries, like you bring up Klefbom, they can become just so reoccurring, so chronic.
Yeah.
Fortunately, shoulders were my thing. Knees were my thing when I played. My meniscus. I had a major knee injury. I tore my patellar tendon, but I tore my meniscus in my other knee twice.
Yeah.
And that was something that was always a chronic issue because it's bone on bone.
Yeah.
It would flare up. Every training camp, it would balloon up, and I would have, if I didn't ice bath and keep it compressed, I wouldn't even be able to practice the next day. And that's just what guys have to deal with, man.
Did it ever lock up?
Yes. Yeah. It would like slip and then it would lock, and I'd have to wiggle it around, try and pop it back in place, man. It was the worst.
I had surgery on my knee for that, and I should have gotten the ACL repaired, and I didn't. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, so you're scathed just like me and Duke, huh?
I know you're pain.
One of us.
I know your pain, boys. I know it very well. We'll wrap up the day with Brady Henderson from ESPN. Seahawks about to be sold to a venture capitalist tech guy. What are they? I can't remember the name of them. I'll have to look it up again.
Billionaires.
Billionaire, like was in with Java. You remember JavaScript?
Yes.
If you're old enough to remember early internet. The Kosla family, that's what it is. And I think he's like Silicon Valley money, like ridiculous. $9.6 billion sale.
Just a couple of walking around bucks, huh?
A few. And he's going to have his son. Well, him and his wife are purchasing them. The father of the family, the patriarch, if you will, 70 years old. Him and his wife is like a biochemist.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was reading about them last night.
Duke brings up the point recently too, in terms of when is the bubble going to burst? Like, are these franchises? Is it endless, limitless? They going to just keep going to becoming 20 billion, 30 billion? When does it ever end?
I mean, it's going only one way, and it's up. Like, Duke, what do you think? Like, there's no bursting of this bubble, I don't think.
Well, I think it can eventually, because as we discussed when we dove into this, whatever that was last week or the one prior, like, and it's like, I get it that owning the sports team is just a license to print money when it's done successfully, but there is a limit on how much money can be made from a single entity. Is there not? Like, there's only so many seats to sell. There's only so many people to buy jerseys, which is like the primary form of income, along with, I guess, you got your TV deal. But as soon as these values keep going up, people just want to keep selling them and flipping them. Who eventually, who's going to have the money?
Venture capitalists.
I guess that's the only. It'll all just be owned by these groups, and then we'll eventually let Saudis buy a team finally in North America, and it'll just be on and on. The snowball will keep rolling down the hill. But yeah, it's staggering, to say the least.
You use the word limit, Duke. What is your boy's limit for the price you'd pay for a beer at a game?
I've gotten sucked into the 1950 beers at hockey games.
Yeah.
Would
you pay $25 a beer?
No.
Duke? $25 for a nice tall boy. Would you?
I'd love to sit here on my high horse and say, no, that's ridiculous. I will. Like am I going to, even at the 1950 beers or 20, whatever you want to call them, I would still have, if I'm there for like a night out, I'm there to watch the game as a fan. I'm still having like 5 or 6 beers.
Ooh, so you're dropping 125 on a couple of beers.
100%. And now, if they, like, with this expected price jump again, according to Spec's little intel with us last week, yeah, I don't know. Like, to me, it's absolutely a detraction to go to the game, because if I'm going to the hockey game, I'm there to like have a good time and enjoy the full experience. if I'm just there to watch the game, I can do that from home.
For sure. And then at least you not when the game's over feeling like you just got taken advantage of.
Right.
You know?
I know. Well, even when you go, let's use the 1950, for example, from last year. Say you get tickets and somebody hooks you up and it's like, okay, well, I owe you beverages or whatever, a couple drinks. You look at that and you go, oh my God, I can't even believe I'm paying this much for a beer.
Yes.
You know, but we do it. You get roped into it. And then some get that one. And once it hits your lips,
ooh, it goes.
It goes. It just tastes so good.
Yeah.
And then you're Frank the Tank all of a sudden, like Brando's saying. So I would be very, very displeased to pay that much.
Yeah, for sure. But people will pay.
They will pay it. Better crowd at the game.
Yes. So good correlation here. People will pay. People will come if you win.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong, Tommy?
No,
team is winning. People are starting to show up, man.
It was noticeable.
What did it look like from your POV?
Pretty good compared to obviously the week prior. And I think they announced over 20 or somewhere around 20. Brando, you had a tweet about it, right?
It was like 20,020 was the via CFL attendance on Twitter, which I think they get that from like league numbers. So
what I noticed was the west side, obviously that's the shaded side. It's kind of comfortable. Season seat holders there. Pretty full. East side that was in the sun. Eddie, you were over there. Fenny was over there as well. Pretty good. And then even the corners I noticed. And then underneath the scoreboard, CW's pub or whatever it's called there's a lot of movement. And to me, that was good. And then I was getting texts from people in the suites and walking on the south side at the top. So very good step in the right direction from what I saw. How about you?
Yeah, I would agree with that. In terms of the corners that you brought up, that was what really stood out to me is you just notice the buzz of the action, just the people in the corners where normally it's a barren wasteland. You could bring your kids and let them run the aisles for fun.
Yep.
But that's not the case. There was people jammed up over there. So very pleased to see that. A lot of people actually came up to me, funny enough, and just were talking about how they saw the challenge to come out to games and were motivated to come to the games because not only is the team doing well, but they have heard us talking about it. They heard Elks Nation talking about it. Get out to the game, support the team. And people are starting to buy in and they're being treated to win. So that helps.
Yeah. And obviously we're going to talk with Cordell Jackson about the win and all that. But I noticed people coming up to you, by the way. I took a peek because remember we were texting especially when Rourke went down and I'm like, okay, here's what you know who was texting me right away? Farhan.
Yes.
He's like, hey, this is what's going on.
He's on it.
And then Matt Baker, who's the PR guy from the Lions, was like, hey, Farhan's texting me. I'm like, yeah, he's texting me too. Like, Farhan is on top of everything.
Yeah, he is.
And the fact that he's getting on me he's like, hey, here's what's going on. What are you seeing? And I'm like, this is good. You feel in it.
Exactly.
And that's what I love. And there was a lot of action. O'Donnell going down.
Yeah, that's tough. Tough for the entire O-line. I mean, the interior trio. So now you've lost Coulter Woodmansey, David Beard, and Carter O'Donnell.
Yep.
Your highest paid offensive lineman, just period.
Yep.
All three of those guys. They are the key to the straw that stirs this drink because they are really good veteran players.
Mm-hmm.
Tough. So it's next man up mentality. It's a cliche, but it's a real thing. The depth on this team that Ed Hervey has acquired, I think, is starting to show. And we talked about a guy like Mark Corti last week, how I sat here and said, maybe you should outright cut him in training camp because his salary is worth the equivalent of two players just to be a backup. Lo and behold, though, you need these guys. And now Mark is more important than ever. And he's going to be relied upon to be the veteran leader on that offensive line.
Yeah. I remember us having that discussion. I know the rotation worked well last year too. And then knock on wood, but I was thinking to myself, I'm like, if they get banged up, this could be a problem. And it's been every week. And Mark Killam said that to us in preparation for that game the other day is we're losing a guy on defense. We're losing our guys on O-line almost every single game. And then it was left knee for O'Donnell. And here's the other thing too, Eddie, is they brought him on, they popped the tent up and they brought him under there. And I'm sitting there watching him and he just looked disappointed. Kind of try to read the guys and the look on their face.
Mm-hmm.
And then after he was done with Doc Naidu and they put the tent down, Dave Beard and Coulter Woodmansey walked over to him in their street clothes and just hung out with him for like 10 minutes.
Consoled him a bit.
And I was like, that can't be good.
Oh, let's hope not, man. We never want to speculate, but
no, I know.
No, but you're right. When you see a guy's face, that's telling. That dejected, defeated face.
Yeah.
Everybody's down when you get hurt, but sometimes the news can be worse. And hopefully that's not the case because, boy, Carter O'Donnell is a absolute stud out there on the football field.
Former Arizona Cardinal.
Local boy, too.
Yeah, local boy. But, yeah. And then just on a really sad note, another local boy out of Leduc, Jaden Dahlke, passing away in a car collision. Awful news, Eddie.
Yeah.
Awful news.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, too. Just lost another brother last night. That's terrible news. I didn't know him at all personally. Knew a lot of people who coached him and had some personal ties to him. All I continuously hear is how good of a dude he was, big of a heart that he had. So it's tragic. You just lifting the family up in prayer, lifting all those affected up in prayer because you, as a parent, you never should have to bury your child, man.
No.
That's just not how it should go.
30 years old, U of A Golden Bear. My buddy Shaden played with him at the Golden Bears, and horrible news. So our heart goes out to the Dahlke family in the Leduc area, and terrible, just really sad and tragic. And you don't want to be talking about stuff like that in pro sports, but unfortunately it happens. And our condolences to the family and to the riders, Rider Nation, CFL family too. They did a great job yesterday. Paying tribute to him prior to the game. And oh, by the way, if you are the Ottawa Red Blacks, holy smokes.
Oof.
You should have won that game 4 or 5 times.
Gave it away. That it was that third quarter, the beginning of the third, when they had the ball a couple of times down there on the one and Winnipeg stuffed them. Those points are a premium, man. You got to finish.
Yeah.
There's a reason you're 0-6.
And we saw the shootout in overtime. What'd you think?
Loved it, man.
Yeah.
I loved it with the new change too, in terms of how it got down to the 2-point converts. I like that. And then the game before too, the night before, Liam Haralahu misses the extra or the 3-point try.
Yep.
In the past, you would have got the Rouge. It would have been a walk-off win.
Not
Thank
anymore.
goodness they changed that Hui Balui.
I am with you 100%. There are people that come at me. What do you mean you don't like the Rouge? I'm like, it
Not like
just
that.
doesn't. Not like that.
Yeah. You can't win a game getting rewarded for missing a kick. No way.
Exactly. And not anymore. No more Hui Balui. I like that. Okay, coming up next here, the Gazzola Show brought to you by Bet365, Elks DB, Cordell Jackson. 4 picks for the defense, 4 sacks as well. Didn't give up much on the ground at all in a big win over the BC Lions. All that and more right here on Sports 1440.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus all. T's and C's apply.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers the Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Alberta, this one's for you. Around here, trust takes a few winters. It's why players have known Jackpot City since 1998. Home to hundreds of exciting casino games, live dealer action, and new adventures waiting to be discovered. Jackpot City. Nothing beats the original. Please play responsibly. 18 years or older. Alberta only.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca.
The Tom Gazzola Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we're here to stay.
Monday morning magic. Love it. Great tradition down at K-Days, and the Elks taking part, athletes and prominent people. Eddie was part of that during his time with the Double E.
Oh, yeah.
And
a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. The kids, I'm sure, absolutely adore it and love it. And hopefully the weather complies. I know it was raining on our way in today to the studio. And Cordell Jackson has taken a bit of a breather from Monday Morning Magic and hanging out with us, Elks DB, after a big victory over the BC Lions. Elks 5-1, man. And like we were saying in the first segment, Eddie, good to see more people out. People are buying into what this Elks team is laying down, and it's good to see for our city, especially on the Double E side of things. So let's bring him in. Cordell Jackson. Cordell, good morning. Thanks for hopping on today. Really appreciate it. Monday Morning Magic is a great tradition, and the kids probably love seeing their heroes and big football players like yourself. What's it like for a guy like you giving back to the community? Because I know that's important for the Elks and all the sports teams in the city.
Yeah, I love Monday Morning Magic, man. It's just the opportunity to just spend some time with some kids that usually probably wouldn't get it. And you could tell on their faces, man, because I've been here for 3 years, they really don't care what's going on. They just happy that someone is there, riding rides with them, just taking their time out their day to make them feel special.
How are you with rides, Cordell? Are you good with rides? Do you like them? Or was it when you were a kid, maybe you enjoyed them more?
Oh, no, I don't really do the rides. I go play the games at the fair and stuff like that.
It's quite a nice perspective check, too, just a reality check of how fortunate you really are. Hey, Cordell?
Yes, sir, it definitely is, man. You get consumed, definitely during game weeks, man. You get consumed with just playing football, and, you never really get to take a picture of life sometimes, man. And this is definitely a reality check for everybody. And it's just a blessing to be able to give back, man.
Good for you, Cordell. So big win on the weekend, man. Friday night, you guys are 5-1. I want to talk about the play of the defense. This was a game that you guys on defense carried this team to the win. And clearly there was a big emphasis placed on stopping the run. What was the message that Coach J.C. Sherritt hammered home to you boys throughout the practice week in order for you to come out and be so successful?
He just really told us to get back to playing our game, because every other game we did pretty well about just flying to the ball and just playing as a unit, man, everybody being violent and all that. And so when we played in the first time, we just didn't have that as a unit. And so he just wanted us to get back to our roots, man, get back to being bone. And that's really all that it took. You need a reality check sometime. Like I said, you really earlier in the season than later on in the playoffs. So I'm glad we had it now, and I'm glad we responded the way we did. Now we just got to keep going forward.
As soon as you said bone, Eddie he had a satisfactory smile on his face, recollecting his 2015 Grey Cup. Yeah, he's just like,
That's it, Cordell.
You know what that means. It's go time.
Big time. The momentum you guys are building, Cordell. I know the emphasis is we want to go 1-0 every week. That's going to be the emphasis this week in Sask. I get it, but just it's nice to see if you're a sports fan in the city, but where is the belief system with this group and the confidence? Because I know you guys like each other, and the attitude, whenever I'm around there, you can sense it. It's way different than it was 3 years ago when you came to this team, and even 4 or 5 years ago where it was pretty rough.
The emphasis started last year, really, man. We was building that bond last year, getting the pieces together. You know, we added a few more pieces that were very needed. Mac, Corny, you know, Cody being starting quarterback. So it was all working together in the beginning. I mean, in the end of last year, and then you come together in this off season, and you know, we believed that everybody was putting in the work, and everybody said that they was putting in the work that needed to, you know, be a contender and win the Grey Cup. So that's all it is, man. It's just everybody doing their job when nobody's watching, have a good character, man, and now it's showing on the field. And like you said, we love each other, honestly, man. We always around each other, always laughing, always joking, and always being serious when it need to be. You know, we got the ability to switch it on and switch it off as far as what is needed at that time, man. And I think that's a big part of why we 5-1.
Cordell, you're such a leader on this team, and I think I'm going to already know the answer to this question, but with you guys being 5-1, is there any talk of, you know, maybe you're starting to feel yourselves in that locker room, starting to think you're better than you really are, or are you guys truly taking it week by week?
I think it was the BC week that we kind of, you know, felt ourselves, and that's just being honest, you know, being 4-0 going into that game, well, 3-0 going into that game.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we haven't done that in a while. So I guess, well, I've never done it in the CFL period, but, you know, we didn't really understand, you know, because it's hard to win football games in the CFL, man. Everybody doesn't understand that. It's not a walk in the park ever. Every game is its own entity, and every game is going to be a war. And so we had to understand that. And like I said, I'm glad we learned that lesson early on, because now we are just continue to stay hungry and continue to stay focused on the mission at hand. And that's going 1-0.
Cordell Jackson joining us from the Elks. He's our headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Reuter Plumbing. The Elks coming off a 1917 victory over the BC Lions. It was a great night down at Commonwealth Stadium. On the broadcast, we had Luke Wilson on, and he was up in the booth. And in that fourth quarter, he says, man, this defense is playing downhill. And when I heard him say it in my headset, I'm like, yeah, man, they are. And then, so all of a sudden, it gets close because the offenses weren't having much success on both sides, and the defenses take over in that game. And then in the fourth, a minute left, and Chase Bryce gets the ball, and you guys just attack him. How confident were you in that last minute possession where they had the ball and you guys were going to be able to stop them from getting anything?
I'm very confident, man. We prepare and train for moments like that, man. We know, you know, it's gonna go down in moments like that, and we prepare for it. You know, we have different situations that happen at practice, and all of them help you in a game time situation just because you've been through it, you practiced it, you've seen it, and so now it's just all about, you know, making the plays that come your way. And Kobe Williams, man, I know everybody talks about it, all the other plays, but one of the biggest plays was that Kobe Williams corner ball, where it was one-on-one. You know, any bad move, any PI, anything, that's a guaranteed field goal from the 30-yard line. Mm-hmm. So I believe that definitely was one of the biggest plays of the game, man. And I made sure I shouted him out because that's a hard play to make. You know, not bumping into him, not tripping him up, just being confident and making his play. And that's what he did, man. And the team and everybody else is rewarded off of it.
With textbook technique as well, Kobe had on that play. Yeah, so that is a big shout out, Cordell. No doubt about it. Coach Grimes, man, I can see Coach AG. He's got you boys playing right back there. He really does. Ball hawking just like he was, Cordell.
Oh, yeah, man. I love AG, man. You know, they say you take the personality of your coach, man, and I'm glad he's our DB coach, man, because I seen how he played the game. We all play the game just like him. You know, we can catch a little better than him, but that's okay.
That's good.
He was a great guy and a great player, man, and a great teammate. And so we just a reflection of him at this time.
And no doubt about that. So sitting at 5-1, statistically, just because of the win-loss, you guys are sitting atop of the CFL. But Saskatchewan, they're 4-1 too, and this is going to be a battle. You have a home and home with them coming up. What, and I don't know if you guys have been in the building yet watching film on them. I'm sure you have personally. What are you guys really anticipating out of Sask, and what's going to be the keys to slowing them down on them?
The keys is going to be, of course, stop and run again. They got a great back and all that. But really the key is to this game is going to be physicality, because we already know. You know, they know what we're going to do. We know what they're going to do. You know, it's going to be about who executes the best, who executes the small things the best. and who makes the plays when they're one-on-one. So that's the main focus this week, just making sure, we playing physical fast and just winning our one-on-ones.
What's it going to be like going into Mosaic Stadium on a weekend in the middle of the summer when they're playing good and you guys are firing on all cylinders right now as well, or at least seem to be? I know you guys say you want to work and improve every week, and we're not. I can hear Coach Killam talking after every victory. He's like, we got work to do. We're only, so and so far along and all that. But what do you think it's going to be like this weekend in Sask?
It's going to be one of the biggest games of the year, man. We both 4-1, 5-1. They're a great football team. We're a great football team, man. So that's what happens when you go head to head. And it's going to be a packed house, and it's going to be hot.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think everybody needs to tune in. It's going to be one for the making.
It will be. And this is a little thing that, in my opinion, it doesn't matter, but it can have an impact. You guys in your locker room aren't paying attention. But you just caught BC coming off of a bye week. That's hard, and you put it to them good. Now Sask is coming off a bye week as well. That's challenging. So you're getting these fresh teams that are going to give you their best, man. But I think you guys are equipped to take that, brother.
Oh, yeah, man. We love coming off a short week with somebody that has a bye, man. That just gives us the opportunity to start fast. Most time when people come off byes, when they start the game, they start slow. So, we're just making sure that we start fast, and that's all we can control right now.
Cordell, thanks for not pushing any receivers into me this past weekend. I appreciate that very much. Enjoy Monday Morning Magic. Great game on Friday, and look forward to seeing what you guys can do on Thursday.
I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for having me.
There's Cordell Jackson, our headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, because your pipes take a beating on game day 2. Ready for overtime when your plumbing isn't. MrRooter.ca. Good stuff there. Yeah.
He dropped that bone.
Yeah.
Tommy, that had me fired up.
You
man.
lit up. Like
that
it matters to you guys.
It does, man.
Yeah.
That bone is real. When you hear that, especially from the newer generation. Now I'm curious. Bone means Brotherhood of Nasty
Eskimos.
Yes. Yeah. So I wonder if they're calling themselves the Eskimos or Elks.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
that E needs to stand for something.
It does. Yeah. Meat eaters.
Yeah.
With the Eskimos.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of many, parts of what the descriptor is. But yeah, I mean, the bone thing. I remember when you guys were on those Grey Cup runs, or you had the good team in 2014, and then won the Grey Cup in 2015. All the defensive guys, the bone, like I think there's T-shirts.
Yeah, it was a real thing.
Yeah,
we loved it. We championed it, and it's just the rich history, right? It's all the guys that laid the foundation before us. We were good in 15, but it was the guys who paved that road, the guys who won in 05 and 03 and the legacy. There's just so much legacy in this organization.
Those were good teams. Only 3 playoff games at Commonwealth in like the last 20 years. Yeah, man.
Not enough.
Yeah. So maybe that changes this year. They're off to a great start through 6 games at 5-1. That's a third of the season already.
It's as good as it could be. That's as good as it could be. Nobody saw this coming. No. I don't care who you are. Nobody saw this coming.
Like 500 would have been like, okay, they're on the up and up, and they're in the mix. But 5-1, and
wow.
BC, Eddie, going into that game had won 12 of 13 versus Edmonton.
They had their number.
Yeah, there was a shutout in there at one point, I think, a few years ago. And now listen, there's been so much changeover, literally. Completely new ownership.
Yes.
The executive staff. Now, there's still people who have worked for the organization for a long time that are there and are now on the flip side of those bad days, which is nice to see and rewarding because they stuck through it through thick and thin. And then you're hearing Cordell Jackson, who's been here, he's in his 3rd year, and he's talking about even the differences and how quickly that's happened. It is nice to see, and then the difference in people starting to show up as well for home games, and it's fantastic. Good. It's going in the right direction. Getting Nathan Rourke out.
That always helps.
Needed to ask you about that.
Yeah. You get to the backup QB. I mean, it makes life a lot easier. You get 4 interceptions out of him. This game, let's be honest, Tom, shouldn't have even been close.
Yeah, I know.
What was it, 1917?
1917.
Final?
Yeah.
It should have been a 4-touchdown win for the Double E. Their offense really was lackluster. I wanted to ask Cordell this too. We ran out of time. I'm very curious to know what Coach Killam's messaging is in regards to the penalties. His team takes way too many penalties.
Good point.
They had, I think, 9 for 80 some odd yards in the game. BC only took 3.
Cordell had a bad one too.
Yeah.
With the face mask, the yank down.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He just got a little selfish there and kind of lost his mind a bit. It happens.
I think he was mad because remember he dropped that ball. It was coming right to him. I think he was trying to stay in bounds.
Yeah.
Maybe lost where he was if he ran out of room, and he had room.
Yeah.
And usually he's good at picking balls off.
No,
but
totally.
I think a little frustration set in there. But good point. We'll have more Elks guests and we'll discuss maybe.
No doubt.
You know what? We'll have lots to talk about on Friday too.
It's going to be a big one. We'll be breaking down the game.
Yeah, we will be.
Yeah.
But Nathan Rourke, that injury has to be just a killer for BC. And you're talking about their defense too. How good is their defense? Like, we knocked their defense for the last couple of years. They're the best at stopping the run this year.
They are. They are.
What do you notice about BC's defense that's working?
They're playing hard. That's the thing I noticed first and foremost. Coach Benavides, although gives up a lot in the passing game, gives up a lot of points scored, or points against, I should say. But you could tell coach has the team bought in terms of how hard they run to the ball, how they're hustling. That really is a true sign of a defense that is listening and trusting in their coach, to me at least, because I've been on defenses where it's a lot of just selfish guys playing for themselves, and you can see it by the film. BC, they're rallying. They're playing very hard. There's a conscious effort to play fast physical defense. You can see they're trying. I just don't think they have the horses. They have a guy like Matthew Betts, who is a stud defensive lineman, but I talk about depth. I don't think they have the depth or the pieces that can get it done week in and week out. And there's a reason, and it's not only because their offense is struggling. Nathan Rourke has pedestrian numbers, and I know he's injured now, but there's a reason this team is sitting at 1-5 now, or whatever it is.
Yeah, 1-4 because
1-4. The bye. Sorry.
The bye. Yep. Brando, you were at the game. You were covering. Oh, you're working back there. My bad. Sorry to interrupt. Are you getting a snack? Is that what?
Yeah, I'm a little tasty.
No. I just needed a little cream for my hands. They're a little dried out. I was back home playing farmer for a bit yesterday, and it just takes one day to make me soft as melted.
Hey, you're a city boy, huh?
I am.
City boy.
I've always had very dry skin, even going back to when I was living at the farm full time, and it was just devastatingly bad.
I'm guilty of it too. Like my hands crack really.
Oh yeah, me
they
too.
Dry up very quickly.
So anyway, sorry. No, yeah, I was at the game and I watched from the stands in the first half.
Yep.
Which was good. And they were great seats. Big thanks again. I chatted about on Saturday with Josh Mel, one of the sales ladies here. She had some tickets to the green and gold room. So went in for a nice little meal beforehand and then some good seats down. And I think it was Section X, that same area where the people were catcalling with Tom. And it turns out like literally Josh was on the one side of where I was sitting, never saw him. Eddie was just over on the other side of where I was sitting, never saw him until I saw both of them on social media later in the game. And then I went back into the press box to watch the second half. My number one takeaway from this game is how bad the jerseys were to try and follow the game.
Oh, it's hard.
Okay.
You literally could not read the I did not know Nathan Rourke was not playing in the game until probably close to the end of the first quarter.
And yeah, he went out in the first series.
The first play of the game.
Second play.
Yeah.
First pass.
Yeah. Okay, so they were the Pacific Frost jerseys that the Lions wore. They just started wearing them this year. And the Elks wore their third jerseys. And the trick is with those, or what gets people, is the color on color numbers. So it's harder to identify the boys in the booth. I know Dusty gets very upset whenever the numbers are
rightfully so, man.
You want to see someone get mad about jersey numbers? Ask Jack Michaels how he feels about color on color jersey numbers. And he gets so angry. So, and most play-by-play guys do.
And especially in sports that the bodies, like in baseball, for example, you know who's going out there every inning.
Yeah.
It's literally reported before if there's a substitution or something. The batting order stays the same the whole game. The numbers are much more inconsequential to me in a sport like baseball. Hockey and football in particular, where the broadcasters are so far away, and a lot of the fans are too, you have no prayer when the players are moving and like they're all over the playing surface. They don't stay in one spot.
Yeah.
You have no prayer of like seeing what the numbers are.
For those that are like, what the hell are you guys talking about? It's essentially you just get the outline of the numbers to try to pick up the number. And when it's moving that fast, like Brandon's talking about, it's tough. So
BC back in the day had those cobalt jerseys too, the black ones.
They look sick.
They're sick. They're so sick. But the numbers, like it's a small little orange outline of the numbers, right? You can't read that. They're sweet, but it's hard.
Yeah. If you're a fan, they're sweet.
They're sweet. They're sweet jerseys to wear.
Yeah.
And rep, not so much for their actual function.
The practicality.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like the Elks wore their alternates, which I really like them, but yes, the numbers would be an issue if you're calling a game. But the Lions with those Pacific Frosts, which I think look nice, except if from a practical standpoint, bit tricky. Bobby with a good text at 1-833-401-1440. Bobby says, "Good morning, gentlemen. I don't mean to sound like a detractor, but do you think the Elks record could be a little bit suspect given 2 wins against the hapless Red Blacks and the fact that BC played their backup quarterback this past week? In hindsight, that probably does sound like a detractor's question. Sorry, signed Bobby. I think it's a fair question from Bobby.
Yeah, it's fair, but man, Bobby, all I'll say is you can only play your schedule. That's the schedule that the schedule makers gave them. You can't apologize for winning.
Winnipeg, although Winnipeg got a scare from the Red Blacks last night. Edmonton took care of the win against Montreal, although it was dicey and came down to it in overtime.
Yep.
That was a good win. Yes, the Red Blacks are
Ottawa.
No bueno, 0-6 now. But I think this BC win, getting to Nathan Rourke in that first possession, injuring him. I mean, don't want to see the best player in the league get hurt, but taking him out of the game, and then, it ends up being a defensive battle, but they still come out on top. They're finding ways to win.
They're learning to win.
Learning to win.
Finding the ways. They're learning. Gritty. It's not always going to be 28-3 wins, right?
Yeah.
You got to go through the mud sometimes. And they're learning how.
Yeah. So Bobby's question is fair. I appreciate the question. And then we'll see where it goes from here. This back-to-back with Sask, home and home, is going to be...
It's going to be huge. Going to be telling.
Yeah, big time.
Because this is, I guess, the measuring stick, right? Grey Cup champs. They're sitting with a pretty record, too. This is it. Clash of the Titans.
Let's go. I like it. Thursday night at Mosaic Stadium. All right, we're going to take a quick breather here on the Gazzola Show. A bunch of texts have come in. I'm going to pepper Eddie with them because it's CFL related. So good stuff. Keep those coming in. 1-833-401-1440. More right after this.
Home ice advantage is real at the rink and on your windows. Novo Blinds is Edmonton's own custom manufacturer, trusted by customers around the city. Factory direct pricing with the fastest turnaround around. Book a free in-home consultation at novoblinds.ca. Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Hurry in for hot summer savings at Wolf GMC Buick. Take advantage of 0% purchase financing for up to 72 months on select new 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 pickups. 0% purchase financing for 36 months on select new 2026 Sierra 2500 Denali and Denali Ultimate models. Plus, huge cash savings on GMC Sierra heavy-duty trucks. And ask about the $1,000 truck trade-in bonus and low-rate lease offers. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Yeah, it's me again. And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero-gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back, leadingedgephysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
Feeling overwhelmed by debt? Concerned about what the next few weeks or months will bring for your finances? My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. You don't have to navigate this alone. Together, we can review your options and build a personalized plan to reduce your payments and get you out of debt so you can breathe again. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by one run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
$7:46. Happy Monday. Hope you're doing all right out there. This rain's supposed to stop. Maybe it stopped. I don't know. We're kind of like in very deep within the sanctuary of the studios here.
Speaking of rain, man, how'd you shoot it on Saturday?
Started really sloppy.
Yeah.
And then cleaned it up. So I went 48-40. Like I'm talking really sloppy. Yeah.
40, that's tight.
That was more like it.
Yeah. Tommy.
Woke up a bit. It was hot.
I went 42-46 on Friday.
Nice.
Yeah, finally busted that 90. I didn't know if I had it in me this year, man. I was starting to get in my head.
Yeah, I've only played 3 rounds this year, so I looked at my score. I'm like, ugh. But when you don't play, it's hard.
It's hard.
Yeah,
and you got it in. You see that 40, and you got it.
And that was very like, oh, well, we're back. It's okay. But you don't play, it doesn't happen that way. Got to practice. Keep those texts coming in. 1-833-401-1440. Tom, Eddie, Brandon, and Josh with you as we cruise along. We've got a loaded show as always. And then I said there was some text that came in regard to the game that I wanted to pass on to you, Eddie. And this came up in the break actually here in studio. Brian texts and says, did they even announce it in the building that there was a QB change? I don't remember hearing it. And it was the same for the Elks. We didn't know he was out until someone saw it on X a few minutes later. The injury happened to Nathan Rourke on the first possession. And I saw him kind of in some discomfort, but we thought it was lower body. And I immediately ran, or I started walking over to the Lions sideline, and he had already gone straight to the room. Now, in-house, they usually announce who's tossing the ball and every play. So
yeah, I get, yeah. Would they announce? I can't recall, like, in now at quarterback.
Like a formal announcement.
Yeah, so-and-so.
I didn't hear it, but I've got my monitors in my ears, so I'm not hearing it. And
I wasn't tuned in like that. I could, like, Josh and Brandon Douglas, the Duke, they were talking, they couldn't really tell. And going back to the number conversation, it's hard to tell the numbers. I only knew because I could tell it's a different body. I knew that it wasn't Nathan Rourke out there. I knew he got sacked on that second play.
Yeah.
But then I had help of Tommy G. You saw me in the stands. You started texting me like right away, man.
Yeah. I was whenever something was happening, I was passing along to you. But I don't think they announce like now and at quarterback, because there's always, they rotate. They have the small or short yardage guys that come in and stuff like that. But when the Lions make a play, you probably would have heard now listen, you're having conversations, you're not listening to every PA announcement, but usually they'll be like Chase Bryce complete to
exactly,
Keon Hatcher for a gain of 11,
Yeah, well put.
But that can kind of fall under the radar. But
yeah,
it
when
happened
you're
very early.
As a visitor too in our building at Commonwealth, usually when the offense is out, we're getting loud in the stands to kind of boo them and stuff. So yeah, probably not really paying as much attention to what the PA announcer's saying.
Yeah, and it's not like the other thing too. It's not like Rourke stayed down on the field and everybody's like, "Well, who is that Rourke?" Oh, geez, it was very subtle. Like I said, I missed him going to the locker room. I took the route over the north side end zone instead of the south side where I usually, because I was watching something on the Elks sideline that was going on. I can't remember what. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go up and around the way I normally don't to see what's going on. And by that time, he had already gone to the locker room, straight to the locker room.
Slightly controversial, but as a defensive lineman, you're loving getting that number one quarterback knocked out. Dare I say, even there's sometimes there's bounties out there, Tom.
Oh,
maybe not from your coach, but I'll tell you what, as a defensive line in our room, we will put up $100 each. First man knock a quarterback out gets the pot. That's a real thing now.
It's the challenge within.
It's the challenge within. And now I have had coaches be like, "Now I'll get 100 in on that pot for you boys. I'll juice it up."
Was that the Saints that the bounty?
Yeah. Greg Roman, where they were actually like being coached to hurt guys. No, we weren't trying to hurt, but you're always going to have a lot more success when you can get the number one guy out of there.
Tim texting in says, as a sideline photographer, I was very confused. Yeah, I could see that. And then the numbers, mix the numbers in and the colors and all that. And it could be, if you blinked, you missed it. So hello to Tim. Good morning. Okay, we got a couple other ones. Daryl says, the Elks defensive backs were so good, they masked the weaknesses on the D-line. And Eddie, you're a stickler for the D-line. What would you say to that?
Yeah, that's interesting comment. The DBs were phenomenal. They were the best unit on the defense for sure. But I thought the D-line played okay. I don't think it was a horrible game. I thought overall it was pretty complimentary defense. Whenever you look at the rushing stats, the D-line and the linebackers clearly did their job. They made the run game for BC absolutely irrelevant. The passing game, you had 4 interceptions, so that's going to stand out. But then the sacks game too. There was a few sacks. Malik Carney had a huge timely sack.
Yes.
Noah Taylor had a sack to knock Nathan Rourke out of the game. So I think overall, no, I don't think that the defensive back play masked or band-aided any other play like the defensive line. I think it was good D.
And you were critical of the Elks D-line and linebackers and the connectivity, quote unquote, coming out of the Kelowna game.
Certainly.
And you said, okay, last week against Ottawa, step in the right direction. And then, so the other day you saw them kind of on the same page again.
Absolutely. Jabomi had a good game, a physical game.
Yep.
He was the one that I was quite critical of in terms of need to up his play and being the hammer, not the nail. You've heard me say many times. When you look at what BC rolled out, and yes, they had a backup quarterback. Why? Well, because the D-line got home to their number one quarterback. But when you look at the numbers, man, the defense did its job in every category across the board. Run, second down conversions, pass, they did it all. So I can't really sit here and say that the defensive back play was so far better than the defensive line play. It's connected.
226 yards through the air for the Lions. Pretty much all of that's Chase Bryce. And then on the ground, just 15.
Solid.
15 on 11 attempts.
Yeah, after going for 135 and 2 touchdowns.
A couple weeks ago to Butler, they kept them.
Exactly. Edmonton took it personally.
This Elks defense has given up 40 yards total on the ground in the last 2 games.
Oof.
They only gave up 25 yards to Ottawa on the ground. They've given up 15 to BC this past week. Like the run game was completely nullified on both sides. Edmonton had 27 yards on the ground. Justin Rankin, you could see the frustration. He busted through for that important first down in the 4th.
He did.
You could see he's like, okay. Like you could see the relief and he was angry, obviously. But it was a defensive battle.
And then for a guy like Rank, don't get it twisted. It probably doesn't help your run game when you lose a Carter O'Donnell, right? You know, guys like that. When you lose Coulter Woodmansey, David Beard, your interior trio, probably the highest paid interior trio in the CFL. That hurts when you lose those guys. So the run game will be affected a little bit. Now the onus is on Coach Max Simic, the offensive coordinator. With these injuries, how are you going to call the game, Coach?
Good point. A couple more here. Let's see. Not Fred says they don't announce the quarterback that's in anymore. I think it's partially due to the short yardage, as you mentioned. Yeah, there's I mean, they're moving guys in and out, and with the short yardage packages and who goes in there and takes over, it changes things up. I think somebody asked me how I got away with wearing a polo. So
because we did talk about that.
Yeah, it's 30 degrees is the threshold. We want to talk about bubble bursting. If it's 30 degrees, they give me the green light to wear the TSN issued polo. They sent me a bunch of stuff, and it was very comfortable. I was quite happy. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you ever sweat? Have you ever started sweating and then
I was sweating?
No, but like on camera, where you're like, oh no, I'm sweating, and then it gets even worse. Like I've had that happen before.
No,
You're not
yet.
as bad as me, so that makes sense.
I was. Some people are sending pictures. I'm like, I got to get back in the gym. Jeez, this is not good. But hey, it was much more comfortable. That's the rule of thumb. And I ask for permission. I don't just show up and be like, oh, I'm wearing this. I was like, hey, to my producer, Chris Edwards, I'm like, is it okay if I wear a polo instead? Like, you got TSN ones? I'm like, many. He's like, wear that.
Yep.
So that's where that comes from. Tim says, so explain to me why the Lions wouldn't just keep trying to get the run game going when the backup QB was in.
It was stuffed. It was shut down.
They shut it down.
Yeah, there was nowhere to run when you are averaging 1.9 yards a carry. You're living in 2nd and 8 every time. That's just, you can't do that. You have to give yourself a better shot.
Oil City Dynasty says this: I live 6 hours north of Edmonton. I used to attend 5 or 6 games a year. Last year was the first year in 20 seasons that I didn't attend a single game. The price to go to a game was approaching an all-inclusive in Mexico. It's just not justifiable anymore. Oil City Dynasty, you talking about a hockey game or a football game?
Yeah, we got to be talking hockey.
That's got to be hockey.
Yeah, I think that's going back to when we were talking about the beer prices.
Yeah.
That quick little tangent we took.
I got 5 tickets for the game, all in like $130. So
pretty damn good.
You ain't going to no resort for that cheap.
That's just like a couple of beers at a
exactly. There that's Duke's
places.
night out.
Yeah. Jumpin' Jack Flash says they announced 20,000. Yeah, Brando, you had it 20,020 through the gate.
Yeah.
Matt and Leduc says jerseys aren't cheap, but when you can't read the new QB's name, they're priceless.
Well, there we go, Leduc.
And then Dallas says 40 more days till college football. I understand the hype of college football and the passion that people have for their schools. I've been to a few games and they're fun and all that and the game day experience, but it doesn't capture me the same.
Me neither as much anymore. It used to. It certainly used to, but it's changed for me probably the past 5-10 years. I think just the landscape in college sports has changed so much with the transfer portal, NIL. I'm kind of turned off. Yeah, it's like a mini pro, and I'm just turned off. I'm old school, Tommy, and sure, get your money, guys. Young men go and young women go and get your money in college, sure. But I like the tradition of going to a school for 3-4 years, sticking it out, being a part of that program, not just being a mercenary, bouncing 5 schools in 4 years like we're seeing now. I'm not for that at all, man.
Yeah, it's definitely changed the game, literally. And I don't know. But people love it. They bet on it. If you're betting on Bet365, bet responsibly, of course. Okay, we got to step out. Hour number 1, that flew by. We got to get to a sports update with Brandon, brought to you by All-Star Construction. They shape and build Edmonton communities, specializing in underground utilities like power, gas, telecommunication, and street lighting. That's All-Star Construction. Here's Brando.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
For the second time in the country's history, Spain is World Cup champions. They got a goal from Ferran Torres in the 106th minute to defeat Argentina 1-0 yesterday from East Rutherford, New Jersey. In the majors yesterday, the Blue Jays dropped the rubber match to the White Sox 3-0. Trey Savage went 6 innings, striking out 9, but gave up 3 earned runs on 5 hits to drop the third of the set. Elsewhere around the majors, the Yankees fall to the Dodgers 8-2 in the first half of doubleheader, but get it back with a 2-1 win in the second affair. Boston beat Tampa Bay 6-1. Baltimore over Houston 5-2, and Seattle doubling up on San Fran 6-3 in one of the evening's nightcaps. WCL action from Port Angeles. The Lefties topped the Riverhawks 8-2 to take that series 2-1. And week 7 in the CFL wrapping up yesterday with the Bombers storming back to beat the Red Blacks 36-14. 34. Some sad news out of the CFL over the weekend as well. As Saskatchewan Roughriders linebacker Jaden Dahlke passing away in a car accident. The 30-year-old, a product of Leduc, Alberta, played his college football here at the U of A for the Golden Bears. And finally, from the Open Championship at Royal Birkdale, Ryan Fox shot a 2-under fourth round to take it for his first major championship of his career. Fox playing out of New Zealand. Coming up in hour 2 of the Tom Gazzola Show, we'll be joined by Sportsnet's Mark Spector and check in with a new edition of In or Out. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Greger for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Summer weekends in Alberta mean one thing: tournament season.
I brought the folding chairs. I brought the sunscreen. I brought the umbrella, just in case.
But who brought the snacks to get through a doubleheader?
I got Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, the ultimate sideline fuel. Whether you're cheering on the kids or watching the pros, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Hi, thanks for calling Uline.
Wait, did the phone even ring?
Nope.
Okay, so you answered before the ring, but now you're going to put me on hold, right?
We don't do that here. We're real people answering the phone, ready to help with your order when you are.
Uline has thousands of quality products for your business and warehouse needs, always in stock, ready to ship same day, and backed by Uline's legendary 24/7 customer service. Uline, we warehouse for you.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. Then a volunteer gave me a medal. But I don't want participation trophies, unless they're from Bet365. With their daily prize matcher game, I win by matching gold coins, cherries, and more. Take that, denim man. Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
The Tom Gazzola Show. All gas, no brakes. Edmonton's sports leader. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Two, as we roll on this Monday, Tom, Eddie, Brandon, Fenny in studio, Spec standing by as we get to On the Mark. Brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Is employee pricing really a good deal? Yes. Yes, it is. This month, shop at Northgate, and you pay what they pay all month at northgategm.com. And Spec, lots of football talk in that first hour. I know you keep tabs on what's going on in the Double E. Pick up another victory. They take out Nathan Rourke in the process, the best player in the league. And then we also see the first shootout 2-point conversion back and forth in overtime that I'm sure you would find fascinating and interesting, and it happens last night. So much happening in the sports world over the weekend.
Lots going on, and soccer, which I watched a little bit of. But let's talk about the Elks. The Elks were, you know what? I guess I just say that you got to pile up wins, and they're not all going to come the same way. You're not going to win pretty. You're not going to win the way you drawed it out every time. You know, you make your game plan. You think, yeah, this is going to work. Then the game starts and it doesn't work. Well, you still got to win that game. And I think that's what we saw against BC was, I mean, their OC, whatever his plan was, didn't work. They couldn't run the ball. First down was a disaster. The offense didn't score 20 points. But you know what? When it's November and we're walking into the playoffs, no one's looking back at this game and reminding you that they didn't win it pretty. They won it. They won the game. They're 5-1. So that's the mark of a team of successful teams. Successful teams win games where they don't look great.
It's true.
That's just it, man. I'm just taking to hockey, for example. How many times have the Oilers snuck out of a game with a win at being down 3-1 heading into the third period?
Right.
For example, right? You're not supposed to win that, but you get out of it, you win it, you learn how to win these tricky, tough games as well, and that's going to sharpen you.
Yeah, like I guess you have to be able to win when you're second and long all night long. Look at their kicker. Their kicker gave them, I mean, would they score one major and 4 field goals?
Yep.
So there you go. So we learned you can count on Blanchard. He's a nice looking kicker. And they needed him, and he showed up and gave him a hell of a game. So, you know what? Now they got to go to the drawing board. Like, that offense has been fairly stagnant for a period of time here. Like, they're going to have to figure out how to get this thing, how to move a ball a little bit better, because it hasn't been great. But at least you're figuring it out while you're 5-1, not 2-3.
Yeah, and they dumped on a Red Blacks team that last week that was in a world of hurt, and we saw that yesterday. And speaking of the Red Blacks, they go into the new overtime format, and it's the first time we saw the 2-point conversion to eliminate ties. No longer do we have ties in the CFL. I don't know if you caught it, Spec, but kind of have that shootout kind of finish to a CFL game in overtime. I didn't mind it at all. You could tell there was a little bit of confusion on the sidelines and with the officials, how it all was going to unfold, but I thought it was kind of neat.
Well, I mean, what did they do before was basically the college football method, right?
Yeah.
Started
And then it would end in a
or
tie.
whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, we also had a game that ended on a rouge, but there's no rouges anymore.
Thankfully.
And to be honest, I'm all for preserving our traditions in the CFL, but that was a perfect example of you don't deserve a point when you kick a ball that poorly. Like, oh my goodness, that, and a good kicker for Toronto, generally a very good kicker, had an awful game. And if you're going to miss that game-winning field goal that badly, or tying or whatever, I guess winning, I can't believe people are out there saying you deserve a point. You don't deserve a point. That's actually a pretty good rule change. No, Eddie?
No, you don't deserve a point at all. And actually, it happened to this exact kicker last year in overtime. Went to kick the game-winning field goal, missed it, got the rouge, and they still won. That's the cheapest way to win a game ever.
Yep, I remember that.
I mean, anyone can kick a ball through an end zone. Like, come on, there's got to be a higher bar for winning a football game than just kick it 40 yards in the air and you'll win. Doesn't matter what direction almost.
Well, here's the thing. Like, when I was playing and it was the old rules still, coaches actually would plan for these scenarios, and they would have situations where you wouldn't even try and attempt the field goal. You send out the punt team and you just would try and punt it through the end zone just to get the point to win the game.
Yeah. Actually, the Elks did that a couple of years ago and won a game.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, of course, that led to the famous put your punter in the end zone and have him punt it back out. I remember every 3 or 4 years we'd have a punt war at the end of a game, and any American would be like, what did I just see?
I think there was one between Montreal and Toronto.
It was
like 2000.
That would have been that would have been about 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
That video has like 1 million+ views because a lot of Americans like, you got to see this. Like, what the hell are you doing up there? So anyway, speaking of kicking balls and offense and all that, Argentina no offense. It felt like they just sat back that entire World Cup final, and then Spain breaks through in injury time. What'd you make of that final and the tournament as a whole, Spec?
I mean, I guess sort of, it's like a Super Bowl at the end of an excellent NFL season, or after a bunch of great playoff games, and you have a Super Bowl that's boring. And that's happened. It gets anticlimactic sometimes. On a whole, the World Cup was fantastic. The games were exciting. There was lots of goals. I think I've seen enough guys dive and roll around for a while. I'm an open-minded sports fan. I've watched a ton of football here, soccer, over the past month and whatever. But yesterday, the game was really stripped of the excitement part for a large part. Yet all the diving and rolling and acting remained, and it really, to me, I looked at myself and said, okay, you know what? I've enjoyed this World Cup, but I think I'm done with watching these clowns roll around like this. Like, I just can't stand it anymore. So it only overshadowed the football because the football was kind of dull. It wasn't a great game, let's face it. And then all you were left to see is a bunch of guys rolling around the turf like they were dead. So I enjoyed the World Cup, but I don't need to watch that stuff much for a little while. How about you boys?
I would probably align directly in the same camp as you. It's cool to watch. It's cool to appreciate and see how talented and gifted they are to do what they do with their feet. But I do kind of get over the theatrics that seem to be very performative.
Yep.
To put it politely.
I mean, the one guy got a ball in the face, in the chin, and that hurts. Hey, you get a soccer ball in the face, it hurts. But Braden McNabb took a 100-mile-an-hour slap shot right in the face, like right below his nose. And he stayed down for about 10 seconds. Then he got up and skated off. This guy was down for 3 minutes, and it was a soccer ball. So that's my kind of tipping point, right? If McNabb can get up after getting 100-mile-an-hour frozen vulcanized rubber hockey puck in the face, this guy could get up after getting a soccer ball, can he?
I would think so. And the funny thing with, in soccer, and listen, there's some nasty tackles and guys can actually rip up their ankles and their knees and all that. Fully aware of that. But when guys go down, like they just got shot and they stay down, like you were outlining their spec, and then they look up and see that the play is somewhere close, or they see an opportunity and they get up and they run right back in and they're fine. They're like, come on, man. That's bad. Yeah. We're with Mark Spector. It's On the Mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Did you watch any of the final round of the Open?
I just happened to turn it on about 17, so I saw Fox sink that late putt. I didn't keep a huge eye on the Open this year, I'm afraid.
No worries.
A few things going on this weekend, but it appeared they had pretty nice weather because the scores are pretty low.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you saw Bryson DeChambeau gets a 2-stroke penalty for improving his lie. And he's like, well, I'm just not going to play tomorrow. He's saying it to the official, and I'm like, oh.
Good. So who would care about that? The American network would care.
Yeah.
I was watching round 3 when the Aussie was leading, and all you saw was DeChambeau every shot, and you'd see the Aussie once in a while, even though he was the leader. Like the Americans tend to do that. They show their guys. Remember back in the day when Mike Weir was competitive and near the top, it'd be hard to find him on TV because he's not American.
Yep.
So DeChambeau, he stomped all over his line. Rory said it best.
He knew what he was doing.
Rory McIlroy said it best. He was watching it with some other golfers, and they're like, what are you doing? That's totally illegal. And any professional golfer knows it. So typical, he wants special treatment for some reason, because I don't know why he wants special treatment, but he feels he should get it. And, welcome to the USA, right?
Rory was pretty critical and point blank with his comments too. I like that. He called him out. He's pretty much said, I'm over his behavior.
I don't really like the guy much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's to like, right? What's to like about this guy? And it's not like he wins. It's not like DeChambeau wins a lot. He hangs around, but he doesn't win.
True. He's probably more famous for his YouTube theatrics now than anything.
That's what he is. He's really he's a golf influencer or whatever he is. But Whatever. He's making lots of money. I guess that makes you smart and successful because you're rich. Again, that's pretty much the American dream. Act however you want. If you make money, you're right, so.
Well said.
Well, speaking of making money, Connor Bedard's going to make a lot of money. $75 million contract, 5 years with the Hawks. Spec, when you saw that, what did you make of the deal? Because I know a lot of people after the Leo Carlson offer sheet and all that were like, wow, the bar's been reset. So here's Connor Bedard making $15 schmil a year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, I think that's where we're at with the cap going up the way it is. I think hockey players are starting to realize, you know what, us being good guys and not being selfish and all those things, it's really just putting money in the owner's pockets, frankly. Like I get it. Connor McDavid takes less. His team spends to the cap. So really he's just spreading the money around among his teammates. And that's a pretty noble thing, right? Like, that's pretty unique in the world of sports to say I'm taking less so my teammates can have more. I'm not going to speak out against that. But Bedard's their franchise player. He's their best guy. Everyone who has a McDavid or a Bedard, or I'm not going to say Carlson because he really hasn't done it yet, but anyone who has one of those players now, I think, is that not roughly going to be a $15 million player, Tom? Isn't that guy now?
Right.
Isn't my, whoever my best player isn't my Nathan McKinnon supposed to make $15 million right now? Isn't that how aren't we going down that road?
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely there.
Yeah. So good for him. Good for Chicago. They got to build a team around this guy. Like, this is the rebuild that they can't seem to quite find an end to. Anaheim's come through it. Montreal's come through it. Chicago hadn't come through it yet. They still are not a very good team. So they got to find their way out of this rebuild. They're in the woods here. They got some pieces, but it doesn't mean you win games. So I'm hope they take a step, because the world's a better place when the Blackhawks are good, right?
Yep, 100% there. And then, Spec, this one, the news drops that Jack Campbell, former Oilers goaltender, is retiring. Obviously, Edmonton bought him out after giving him that contract. How would you write the tale of Jack Campbell now that all is said and done in his hockey career?
That's a good question, hey? I mean, an incredibly interesting person. Yep. I'll say that. I've got a couple Jack Campbell stories in terms of like an extent he went for me or for a member of the media or for someone in the game that a lot of players just would have not gone to that length, and in a very positive way, like in a very, when he said he was available and things went sideways and it's for whatever reason, he never stiffed you. I remember one time I had car trouble in Bakersfield, couldn't get to the dressing room. I'm standing in a parking lot with a guy putting my rental on a tow truck, like one of those, towing it up on the flatbed. And some guy drives by. It's at the hotel is right next to the rink. You've been there, Tom.
Yep.
I'm in the back parking lot there. Some guy drives by and goes, "Hey, Spec." And it's Jack Campbell. And I've come to Bakersfield to write about the $5 million goalie whose career is going sideways. He's in Baco. He's never going to play again. Most players would have said, "Oh my God, am I ever lucky? That reporter didn't get to the practice today. I'm going out the side door. See you later, buddy. I'm never talking to you." He's like, "Meet me over there in the parking lot and we'll chat." We stood in the parking lot of that Bakersfield Marriott for half an hour. We got a great story from the guy about his travails and his troubles. So as a person, like, wow, he's a special, great guy. Addiction problems in his career, there's no doubt. Dealing with the pressure of being a goalie, probably wasn't great at that. In the end, a first-round pick, guy paid lots of money. Was he ever a great NHL goalie? I mean, I guess probably not. Probably not. Hey, doesn't always turn out for every guy, but you'll never hear me say something bad about Jack the person. Jack Campbell the person is an unbelievable good person.
Hey, Spec, I gotta ask, did you still write that critical article?
Well, you know what? Yeah. I mean, to an extent, you can't, Eddie, you can't whitewash the fact that the organization's $5 million goalie's playing in Baco.
Yeah.
That's just a fact, and I deal in facts. But do you think you have a respect for the person when they do that for you? Oh my God. Like, I went from having no story and trying to explain to my boss what the hell happened to having a killer great story, and all because Jack Campbell's an awesome guy.
Yep.
So yes, I'm not going to, I'm a human being. You think it makes you feel a little bit different about the guy? You bet it does, man.
Right.
Softens you a bit to him.
Yep.
Yeah, well, for sure. Like, anyway, good. God bless, Godspeed. I hope he has a great career after hockey. He's certainly got a nice financial head start. And go, Jack, go.
He is moving on to an identity and performance coach with Novus Global. So he's got something that he's going to be doing. Purpose is always important. And you're right, Spec. And I love that story because he is a really nice individual and a good human being with a good heart. Addictions or issues aside, he's good people.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Spec, enjoy your Monday. Hopefully it clears up and you can do something and get out of the house a little bit. I know it was raining last time I took a peek, but good stuff as always, my friend. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, let me give a quick plug. We got our tournament on Wednesday. Got a couple spots left, but we got an auction going on. Got like a signed Ovechkin jersey, a signed Matthews jersey, a whole bunch of stuff. So if you're a collector or you're looking for some cool stuff, a Vladdy Guerrero bat, lightly used apparently, Tom.
Really? Hey,
that thing is lightly used. Boom.
There,
find our watch my Twitter feed, find our auction at bidbeacon.com. There's some really, really cool stuff courtesy of all the great NHL teams and MLB teams. Some Sabrowski stuff, a uniform and a hat. All the people that have helped out Sports Central. It's all out there. So take a moment to roll over to Bid Beacon and like I say, watch my Twitter feed, and hopefully you can help Sports Central a little bit, boys.
A great cause. And Spec of people, you said there's a little bit of space left to get in on tournament.
There's like 3 spots left in our tournament. Yes, there is for foursomes. So if you want to play Wednesday, weather's supposed to be really nice. You know where to find us, markspectorgolfclassic.com.
Awesome. I'm glad you got that in, Spec. Sorry, I should have opened it up to you for you to do that, but great stuff.
Boys.
Go check it out. Yep. Stay on Spec's Twitter. Thank you, Spec. See you tomorrow.
All right, guys.
There you go. Mark Spector on the mark, brought to you by our good friends over at Northgate Disc Trucks for you. Some texts have come in. We have an open segment next. We'll get to those.
I want to just ask you boys a question. Maybe you can answer it after the break. What's the hardest trophy/championship to win? You know, with the World Cup having just wrapped up, what do you think is the hardest to win?
I do think it is the Stanley Cup, just because of they're literally beating the crap out of each other every night.
For 2 months.
Yeah. That's how I mean, I'm 100% heavily biased, but I stand by it just because of the vigor in which every game is played with. Not to say that your route to a Grey Cup or a Super Bowl or even like the NBA title, like that would be tough, but.
Or what about even, like I guess an Olympic gold, not individual, but team.
That one, yeah.
But I would probably agree. I would think that hockey is probably the toughest championship to win.
You guys?
Memorial Cup.
Ooh, that's a good one.
one.
That's a good one, dude.
Yeah.
It's a really good one, actually.
And it's kind of a cop-out because it's because of the leagues they play in. Like, they're just kids. And they have to go through like the regular playoff run and the trials and tribulations of a four round run through your league. And then you pick up, unless you're the host, pick up and fly probably across the entire country and land somewhere for a week and then play the other 3 best teams in the country.
Yeah.
And you gotta win most of those games. It's tough.
Fenny?
There we go. We just saw it. To me, it's the World Cup. It's
Really?
the hardest. Yeah, it's the hardest one to go to that level in because it is the biggest sport in the world. So to me, it's like, hey, if you win it, like you are the best team in the world for 4 years, basically, right? And so, I mean, and you're playing against all the other best players in the world in a sport that is so like incredibly full of great players.
All right, Fanny, you got a little bit of validity to you there, Ben.
Ball knowledge? Question mark.
Question mark.
Okay. How about this one? Tour de France is the hardest. Love it or hate it. That's a grind. But I don't think we keep Tour de France, and yes, I said France, top of mind, right?
Yeah, we don't, but that is a grind, man. What is it, 17 days or something? 3 straight weeks of mad climbs.
Elevation, heat.
And it's not like you're just
other
out for a
riders.
bike ride. I was just going to say the other riders, man. It gets so compacted in some of those stretches.
Yeah. Some of those crashes, cycling crashes, like your life's on the line, depending on where you're riding.
Side of a hill.
Yeah.
That's a good pull, too.
Nice. Yeah, that was a good text.
Football's probably, sorry to cut you off. I was going to say football's probably one of the easiest.
Well, it's just you play one game a week, and I know that the impact and how hard it is, that one game is through the roof, probably the hardest in game, but the time off and I think there's a rest and recovery period. I don't know. I didn't play football, but
I would say as someone who did, it's probably the easiest. And then in the CFL, you first in the West, you get a playoff bye for week 1. You got one home game, and then you're in the championship. That's simple.
It's a sweetheart ride, man.
Yeah.
There's some good texts that have come in. Let us know your thoughts. What's the hardest championship to win? I think we're going to see a lot of Stanley Cup, but there's people thinking of other ones. That's how we brought up Tour de France. That came in via text 1-833-401-1440. Quick breather right here on the Gazzola Show on 1440, and more of your texts on the way next.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Say hello to Alberta's home for reeling and dealing. With Play Alberta, you can spin into the excitement of popular slots like Cash Eruption and Desert Fantasy. Experience Alberta exclusive games and get in on the action of live dealer tables with all new elevated stakes. However you prefer to play, the fun is ready when you are. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
This jersey was worn by the legend himself, signed and everything. You can't just wear it. I'm framing it with expressions and images.
Your prized jersey deserves better than the closet. Think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. Then a volunteer gave me a medal. But I don't want participation trophies, unless they're from Bet365. With their daily prize matcher game, I win by matching gold coins, cherries, and more. Take that, denim man. Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
Mr. Rooter has deja vu. Mr. Rooter has deja vu.
The bathroom is right over there, Mr. Rooter.
Thank you, good sir. Wait, I swear I've plunged this toilet before. It was clogged with a snow globe. Am I living in a time loop? Oh, good. It's just a voodoo doll that looks exactly like me. Whew, what a relief.
For a plumbing experience you'll want to relive, call Mr. Rooter.
Gazzola Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
The Tom Gazzola Show. Oiler insider and Jersey aficionado. Edmonton's sports leader. Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we're here to stay.
$8:30 on a Monday. It's the Gazzola Show, brought to you by Bet365. Check out Bet365's early payout for baseball. When your team goes up by 5 runs, you get paid out immediately. No stress about blowing a big lead. Download the app. See why early payout is awesome and what it's all about. Tom, Eddie Steele, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you. Lots of text coming in about what is the toughest championship to win. I know it's like a conversation that it comes up, but there's been some interesting texts that have popped in, and you're saying, Eddie, you like it when people come up with some creative stuff, and they have. Yeah. So, for example, Oddball texting in says the world's strongest man.
Oh,
that would be tough.
Oh, that I didn't even think of that one.
Mm-hmm. Mike from Edmonton texted and said bareback or bull riding world title, top 15 in the world. Based on money standings, go to national final in Vegas. Ride 10 says, ride 10 days straight, and cumulative money earned at the end of the year is crowned. Seasons run from January to December. That's a long haul, man. That's the whole year. And then Ryan Smith says 24-hour Le Mans. That's where you're doing like the driver's shifts.
Yeah.
That can be pretty gruesome and tough. Jay and Victoria says quicker minor hockey week championship. Yes.
That's good.
I get it. And then YYC Ryan says the tennis grand slams are up there. The physical and mental demands required to play potentially 5-hour matches every second day in the heat is incredibly difficult. And we saw that with Felix losing to Joker. It was a 5.5-hour match. And
it's a marathon.
And they were saying how hot it was in Europe during the
With that being
Roland
said,
Garros
then
tennis.
with tennis, you probably could argue golf is quite challenging too.
It can be,
Individually, the way it's, first of all, let's like factor in they're walking 4 straight rounds. That's challenging. Yes, they're in shape, but I know how I feel after walking around and then to wake up and do it again. But they're competing against, the other best in the world, and that's not easy to shoot low the way these guys do to make a cut, even, for example.
The mental stress has to be through the roof there.
Mhm.
Not to say that it wouldn't be in other professional sports or any sports in general, but yeah, it is helpful that you have somebody carrying the bag for you.
Touche, and telling you, everything, essentially, every little which way the wind is going and how the green is sloped. And
Coach / teammate / guy that does all the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Literally. Matt and Leduc says the U.S. Open in golf is crazy. Yeah, each sport there's an element of difficulty and stress and all that you can make a case for, but just I think in hockey you're getting your ass kicked every night.
Yeah.
Essentially, unless you're playing on the perimeter and
well, hey, if you're playing on the perimeter, chances are you're not having a deep playoff run. You're not winning
right.
that thing.
Yep. Eric says it's easier to walk 18 when you're not spraying it everywhere, Eddie.
Way less steps.
Way less steps. Mr. Lister. See, they're getting creative. I like that. World Hot Dog Eating Championship. A little bit of love there for Joey Chestnut.
Chestnut.
And who was the Japanese? Kobayashi?
Kobayashi Maru. Naru? But Kobayashi.
And him and
He's like
Joey Chestnut had the rivalry, right?
It was pretty short because Kobayashi came in and was like, I can't remember what the number was, but he was the first, I think, to crack a certain number of hot dogs eaten. It was like, oh man, there's a new guy on the scene. He's taken down Chestnut, and he hasn't won since.
Yeah, it flared out like you said.
Yeah, it was, and like it was made a rivalry because of the fact that he kind of burst on and then was the first to cross this threshold.
It was like 60 or something.
I wanted, so it was the number that was in my head. I think Josh might have it.
Wow.
No, I just wanted to come in here and set the record straight. It's Takiro Kobayashi. Kobayashi Maru is a character from Star Trek.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
You're thinking of
how did that get in my head? I've never even seen Star Trek.
Have you seen
Live
The
long and
Office?
prosper.
That's
I
when
have seen The Office.
he says he Kobayashi Maru it when he's being interviewed to become a salesman.
All right, well, yeah,
I mean-
weird how things stick in one's brain, I guess.
And it was 50 hot dogs in 12 minutes.
Oh, the thing about these hot dog comps that just gets me is the wet bun.
Yeah.
that is so gross to me. The soggy wet bun, that is so disgusting.
They dip it in
Yeah.
water or Mountain Dew or
And
whatever.
you know those
it
are
is.
just like Wonder Bread buns. They're not a good Cobb's bun.
Yeah.
Ugh, no thanks.
Or Villaggio.
Yeah.
Like a good
Have you
Villaggio.
guys ever heard Chestnut talk about that type of stuff? Like he'll sit down at like the bench or whatever on July 4th, and he'll look out and he'll touch he'll be like, "Oh yeah, buns are fast today."
What?
That's
like
awesome.
you know,
car tires.
sometimes if you go there like, oh, tracks running fast.
Yeah.
So like,
The greens are rolling.
He talks about the buns the same way. He's like, buns are fast.
That's hilarious.
I mean, he is a master. To me, that's so funny.
I've never heard that, Duke, but it just tracks, man.
Thank you.
How are the greens rolling today?
Buns are slow. That is. Oh,
That's good, Duke.
I mean, when you're that good and you know your craft that well, wasn't there controversy with Joey Chestnut and Kobayashi, like their hot dog affiliation? There was like a brand issue.
Yeah, something with Nathan's.
Joey Chestnut did not do the July 4th a couple of years ago because he'd signed this deal, which was not technically in competition, but it was just almost like just a personal NIL endorsement with the fake meat, plant-based meat, miracle meat or whatever they call it. I can't remember.
And that nullified his eligibility?
No, it didn't. But I think that I don't think it actually did, but then the contest themselves like, oh, you can't have that. And Play's like, well, that's fine. They're paying me more than I'll win in prize money here. So then they did like the head-to-head thing on Netflix instead later in the summer, if I recall correctly. But he was back last year, so it's kind of proved all moot anyway. But it's weird. I do remember watching it, and I want to say it was in studio, and it was weird not seeing Joey Chestnut at July 4th.
It's a time-honored tradition.
Didn't he have a bit of controversy as well, Joey Chestnut?
I think he's got some off the stage things.
That's what I thought.
I don't know the ins and outs of them, but
I don't think it's as bad as Jared from Subway, but he's
Oh,
got some controversy.
well, no, definitely not.
That's next level.
Sorry, I went there.
Okay. Well, let's bring it back. We're going to go to this text. Gord Oil gets the last text of the segment because we have to go in or out with Brandon after the break. Gord Oil says, so soccer, where you get 3 years rest in between your 8 World Cup games every 4 years, is harder than every year. You need 16 wins and play every second night after an 82-game grind. I guess it's tough in soccer where you literally come back from the dead to play the rest of the game. Not close to hockey. And that's why I understand, like, you can make an argument for pretty much any sport. Now, in soccer, as I've learned in recent years, the schedule, like their club games and then their national windows, is almost becoming a 24 or a 12-month process.
Right.
Like, there's very little downtime in the soccer world, given like Copa America, Euros, Gold Cups, and then all the league championships with your club team. That if you're a high-end national player, you're minimized amount of time that you have off. So
full tilt.
Yeah,
that would have been my immediate pushback to that text.
Yeah,
is like, it's not like they're just sitting on their couch in the years between World Cup. They're still playing all the time.
And then after you win the Stanley Cup, you get 2.5 months off of nothing.
True.
Right? Soccer, you don't get 2.5 months. You're right back into it, like you just said.
Like these guys, who was it? Richie Larea was back with TFC last week, and he was mixing it up like he was still playing in the World Cup. It was feisty. It was nice to see, to be honest with you. But I understand where Gord Oil's coming from. It's just, in soccer, like it's these guys. I mean, the guys that are on the national teams are playing a lot, given how the season has stretched out. And speaking of hockey, we're talking about an 84-game schedule now. That's Cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
Yep, exactly. All right, when we come back, it's going to be In or Out with Brando here on the Gazzola Show, brought to you by 365.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
For all your welding supplies, think AWS Welding. Located in Nisku, their readily stocked storefront carries a wide variety of welding glasses, cylinder rentals, plus welding rod, wire, and consumables. Same-day delivery is always available. And if they don't have it, AWS Welding will find it for you fast. Visit their online store today at awswelding.ca or give them a call or text at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. They make it happen.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. Stop in and see us today. 13215 97th Street or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier specialty charter companies. With our luxury motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation services. Our seatbelt equipped top-of-the-line motor coaches have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel needs across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991. Or visit silentrides.ca.
Don't let rookies scratch your custom wheels. Evolve Wheels and Tires uses premium touchless equipment designed to protect your wheel and tire investment. Trust the enthusiasts at Evolve Wheels and Tires, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride. Evolve your experience.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
$8:44. We roll on here on the Tom Gazzola Show, brought to you by Bet365. Tom, Eddie, Brandon, and Josh with you. It's time to go into In or Out, brought to you by Pro Solutions. You need fast AC service? Pro Solutions offers expert repairs, tune-ups, and installs with flexible financing. Book your appointment now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Okay. You know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line, are you in or you out?
In or out of what?
No time for questions. Just action. In or out?
Well, then I'm out.
I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
Rewinding to Friday night down at Commonwealth, the Elks get past BC 19-17 to move to 5-1 on the season. Not a pretty game, gritty, ugly in the trenches. Defense taking care of most of the business on behalf of the green and gold. The Elks' red zone efficiency is the primary area of concern for this team as they hit what is set to be a much tougher leg of their schedule.
That's a good one because it's been consistent since week 1. They've had issues in the red zone and putting the final dagger into teams when they've had opportunities, and they've, like, Montreal came back on them. BC almost did it. Yeah, that's a good one. Brando, I'm in on that.
Okay, I'll see you're in, and I'll raise you to an out.
Okay.
I'm going to be out.
Okay, why?
Not because it's the offense in general. It's not just the red zone efficiency. I think the offense in general needs to be better for this team to go where they want to go. Rankin has been phenomenal, but I think we need to see more consistency through the pass game. And again, yes, finishing in the red zone would be helpful. But Coach Maximic needs to continue to be more creative in getting the playmakers the balls, not telegraphing it to Rankin. And Cody Fajardo, there's always room for improvement. I'm happy with how he's played, but there's always room for this O to get better.
Where is discipline on this list?
Needs to be high.
Yeah.
Needs to be high.
And what I found really weird about the discipline, Tom, and Coach Killam made a kind of little bit of a comment about it post-game on Friday night. Like, a lot of their penalties are coming on special teams, which is his area of focus. Like, he's a special teams guy. He's the guru there. And I get it. He's got a lot more responsibility with the head coaching stuff now. But you have to think that absolutely drives him insane as a special teams lifer, that when you're taking penalties on punts, on field goals, and you know, extending opponents' drives and things, or hurting your own field position if it's on a return, that if for someone like Coach Killam, I think it would drive him bananas to have that be such a black spot on your team's game so far.
Fair point.
And to the red zone, just to the actual metrics of it. So going into this week, no team has ran more plays in the red zone than the Elks. So that tells me the offense is moving the ball enough to get them into position. They are, however, 5th in the league in touchdowns inside the red zone. They go 1 for 3 on Friday, which means they are now 11 for 24 overall inside the red zone.
Not good enough.
They're tied for second for red zone opportunities, and this was going into the week, and then tied for 5th in touchdowns inside there. So got to make more of those opportunities. Can't be settling. And to be honest, and I can't remember exactly what drive it was, so forgive me, but we talked about this last week, the end of the half, where they decided to kick a field goal and then there was about 30 seconds left instead of going for it on third down. I would like to see them try a few, even if it's not just 3rd and 1 or 2 inside the red zone. I'd like to see them try and get 6 instead of just 3 more regularly.
I like it.
That's just my little bit more of an aggressive offense process of thinking there. Over the weekend, Connor Bedard re-upping with the Chicago Blackhawks. 5-year deal carrying a cap hit of $15 million. He is going to miss the beginning of this season, recovering from shoulder surgery injury sustained, that is, during an off-season workout. Despite missing time, I'm looking at the way he's trended, the way he's tracking. He scored 30 last year in just 69 games played. I guess we'll see how many games he does end up missing, but I think the cast around him has improved, even if just slightly so. I think Bedard's going to score 40 this year, despite the time missed.
I'm hard out on this, actually. He hasn't hit that 40-goal plateau yet, and then coming off of the injury, yeah, even if he misses a couple games, the season is extended. It's 84 games now.
Yep.
But you're still going to have to work yourself back into game shape, back into the mitts. Are the mitts going to be good coming off of the injury? Is he going to have to feel it out? I don't believe he will just hit the ground running and start scoring hatties left and right. So we'll see. I'm going to be out, though. I don't think he'll hit 40.
I'll be more optimistic. I'll say maybe going into what now is 5th season, he'll be dialed in. Yeah. He put up 30 in 60? I have it right here. 69 games. He gets 84. If he's able to recover from that surgery relatively quickly, and he's still a young guy, if he's at that point in his career where he feels like I don't want to say owns the NHL, but knows how to put up numbers and is starting to just kick it into high gear, I think he could get to 40. I mean, we watched Zach Hyman miss the first month of last season, and he patched together. Did he get to 30? I thought he was pretty damn close. But yeah, I think Bedard's a better natural scorer than Hyman. Hyman works for every goal. He mucks every goal. I think Bedard, especially with the ice time he'll be getting, power play time, I think he could. So I'll be in.
I like Anton Frundell. Very brief look at him last year. I think that he will improve the team down the middle, maybe help take a little bit. Because if you're an opponent, it was, just match up against Connor Bedard and you're essentially shut down the entire offensive punch of the team. Frundell, they're still looking for like the right fit for a winger for Bedard. I think their new hope is that it's going to be Kanserov coming over from the KHL. Roman Kanserov, he's 21-year-old, going to start in the pros in the NHL, this season. So I just think things are trending in the right direction for Chicago. And Bedard showed in the first couple months of last year before the injury that when he's at his best, he's right up there. Like he's one of the most skilled players in the league. So I'm optimistic. It'll be interesting to see how much time he actually does end up missing, though, as he recovers from surgery. The World Cup has concluded. Spain beat Argentina 1-0 yesterday, captured their second World Cup trophy. This tournament on North American soil over the past 6 odd weeks or so. Lots of storylines, lots of drama. And the legacy of this year's event was the play of the sport's best and top players.
I mean, they were shining stars as they should be. Is this it for Messi? Probably. I think that'll be part of the legacy of this one. Ronaldo, same thing. I think we'll look back on these games and this World Cup and think of the performances by the top guys. Mbappe,
Holland.
Yeah. I'll be in. And then I think as a joke or in a somewhat sarcastic way, we'll always look back at, we didn't even talk about the halftime show yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
How Americanized.
The Americanization of soccer.
And listen, like that too. And even someone had texted in earlier in the inbox about like, how about Trump standing in the picture? I'm like, yep. It was just Americanized this World Cup, but brilliant play on the pitch across 3 countries. And some huge names living up to that legacy.
Yeah, Duke, I'll be in because you're right. The stars did come to play, especially in the semi and quarterfinals, right? Like the big names scored some big goals. The big names led the overall goal scoring race for the tournament. So that was nice to see. But I do have to say with an asterisk, I think one of the bigger takeaways from the overall tournament was the rescinding or the suspending of the red card for the American player. How Trump made a phone call, bragged about making a call, and all of a sudden they get the red card suspended.
Yeah.
Complete fraud and bogus.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The soccer gods did not like it. And sure enough, the U.S. lost that next game. So that's a good point.
And in a way, you could almost just roll that into Tom's point about the Americanization of the World Cup with everything else we saw. And I get we had the hydration breaks in Qatar too, if my memory serves.
Did we actually?
Correct. But I think they were a little more warranted there because you're playing in the middle of the desert and it wasn't just for the sake of
more commercial
commercials and all that jazz. And the reality is, doesn't matter where it's going to be played moving forward, they're not going away.
They're keeping them?
I have to assume so. Once you get that foot in the door, and like the money hungry world of FIFA and all that, like there's no chance that all of a sudden, we're going to actually turn down this potential revenue moving forward now. There's no chance. I can't.
Dollar bills, yo.
Over to the Lynx Open Championship. crowning Ryan Fox yesterday as another first-time major winner this season. Great story for the Kiwi. But unfortunately, I think Bryson DeChambeau and his antics going back to Friday somewhat overshadowed and kind of stole a lot of the headlines from the weekend. I've made no secret of like I don't like Bryson DeChambeau whatsoever. I think he's a tool. I think he's focused on the YouTube stuff, and obviously you roll in the live factor, all these things. There's a lot of reasons to not like him. I don't think that was a fair thing to happen to him when you get the 2-shot penalty after the fact. There was and for whatever it's worth, I don't know if there's any verification on it, that it came via a submission from someone watching, like on TV.
I thought they eliminated
which
that.
was supposed to be outlawed.
Yeah.
Right? But that's where I heard or saw or read that's where the review came from. And when I watched back the footage of it, like, I think that is what he did, like towing that line so well between being savvy and be like, how can I try and brush it? It wasn't obvious. It wasn't glaring, in my opinion. He takes a step back. Yeah, 100%. I think he made his effort to make his step back as productive as possible. But we also see other guys do the same thing all the time.
I'm out on this. I don't like him either. I never have. I understand and respect his mad scientist shtick, and he's turned it into a thing, and he's become more likable. That's good. Wonderful. But you don't think he knows the rules? You don't think he's one of those guys that is so meticulous about everything that I'm sure he knew exactly what he was doing. And you watch that video and you see that last step, and you're like,
yeah.
If it was someone else, you might give them some grace, but probably still wouldn't. And the fact that it's him made it even worse, to me at least. So I'm out on that. He was fairly penalized. Screw him.
Yeah, I'm out as well. It was a very accidentally on purpose step, like you just talked about. Here's the thing. I don't love Rory. Like, he's not my savior or anything. I really respect Rory, though, especially with the live, the PGA and how they split. And Rory really fell on the shield and spoke some real truths during that phase. He did. Rory spoke some real truths about Bryson here, too, and he didn't hold back. So whenever you get a guy like that who is, I think pretty consistently respected by his peers and by others outside of the sport of golf, when Rory speaks up and says, I don't like the guy, I think that was totally on purpose, I'm going to believe Rory. I will.
Yeah.
And he called him out very critically.
But what about the fact that anyone, and maybe it's just the professional athlete way, and we see it so much in hockey where you never want to be the guy stepping on toes or calling out your peers. No other golfer really backed up Roy's thing. Like Scotty Scheffler, world number one, he says, like, Bryson's not a cheater, right? And so that's where I think what you said, Tom, but like, if it was somebody else, would have this maybe just been let go as like people, and it's automatic. All the Bryson fans or people they send in all these other clips of guys like Rory or whoever else in the past doing things that are very similar, and they say they didn't get penalized for this. DeChambeau does not have a track record of being a cheater. He's not Patrick Reed.
Well,
who might be the only person
that's
that
a hard guy to
might
like.
be the only person that people hate more than Bryson DeChambeau. But it's just DeChambeau's reputation as a person more than as a player, I think, that absolutely, I think, played a role in this. So, and we got a text about it's the official rule. Yeah, I get it's the official rule, but this almost goes to the red card thing, right? About they let it go in so many other spots, similar plays, or they don't call it on other people because they have the cachet of someone like Rory McIlroy. Like, DeChambeau's a 2-time major winner. Should he get a little bit of more grace because he is one of the best players that's out there?
In theory, yes, but all the other stuff, I remember early in his career how long it would take for him to line up
just
a putt.
Terrible. Shout out Ryan Fox. He's like the antithesis of Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah.
He's like the fastest player I've ever seen.
And it worked for him, obviously.
He literally just walks up and hits. Like, it looks like you're out with your buddy on a Sunday round.
But I'm glad you brought up the reputation thing, and part of me thinks that they hit him with this because of his reputation, and it's
valid,
once
man.
you have that kind of sheen on you, and it's hard to shake that off, and he's got that reputation. So,
and to put a bow on it, I'm 100% in on like the whole threatening to quit because he doesn't like the pay. Like, that's all a joke. Like, come on, man. You're still in the hunt. There's no way you're gonna walk away after 2 rounds just because you draw from what, T4 to like T10.
That put him at 3 shots back at the time.
Yeah, so it's still very much in the hunt that you were never gonna not play. So performative, sure, but I also think it's like Rory McIlroy he's respected. He's a veteran. He's a Grand Slam winner. I mean, you're a pro golfer. Very few guys haven't had their moments of blowing up and being quote unquote performative in their own way too. So little bit of the pot calling the kettle black, I thought, from that. But at the same time, I'm like going against myself because I do like it when guys actually speak their mind instead of just saying, yeah, I don't care. I'm focused on my own game, yada yada.
Well, then, dang, Duke, what is it?
Well,
make up your mind.
I can't. I need more time to process it. How's that?
Good,
fair enough.
So I think Rory, like him saying, like, I don't like Bryson. Okay, that's fine. But then saying he does all this stuff without acknowledging I do that stuff too. Maybe that's where I'm trying to find a perfect world, even though it doesn't exist. Finally, today's National Moon Day, celebrating the anniversary of Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin stepping foot on the lunar surface for the first time. I don't know if you guys are big night sky fans, astrologists, astronomists.
That's not fake news, is it?
Anything in between the moon landing? I guess that's up for you to determine. Eddie. Maybe it was Stanley Kubrick's studio that they did it in.
Oh my God! Do you not believe in the science that we as people have created and developed and whatever?
It sounds like Eddie's the denier.
No,
I
do.
The best phase of the moon for viewing purposes. Give me a waxing crescent.
So like a half moon is what you're saying?
No, that's a half moon.
Oh, I see. Okay,
a waxing crescent.
Do you know the phases of the moon, Eddie?
No.
Okay, so
explain the waxing
So you
crescent.
go from a new moon where it's kind of blacked out, right? You can't see, it's all shadow. And then you go into your waxing phases that goes from crescent, fills in from right to left to a half moon. And then you get to a waxing gibbous, which is like the 3/4.
Oh, yes.
Full
the
moon.
gibbous.
And then it switches back the other way. And those are, it goes from, and it disappears from left to right, waning gibbous, waning half, waning crescent moon.
Can I just say something? Nerd alert.
Yeah, Duke, you're going to get us pulled off the air, man. This is Sports 1440.
You learned this in like grade 6.
Are you sure?
And I forget it in grade 7.
I'm quite sure. I'm pretty sure grade 6 was like the weather curriculum in science.
Okay.
Grade 6 science.
Okay.
So the waxing crescent
is the best.
Yeah.
You're in?
Or what about the blood moon?
Ooh, that's gnarly.
Yeah, when it's all red, huh, Duke?
Sure.
Okay, that'll be my answer.
All right.
I'll be out. I'll be out.
That's not a phase of the moon. That's just a full moon in a very specific set of.
But you lost me on the waxing crescent, man.
So you're just picking a full moon. You like a full moon.
Yeah, give me a nice full juicy moon.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm out as well. That's when the werewolves come out. The funky nights with the full moon. But listen, why doesn't this waxing crescent have a smiley face on it, like on the emoji?
True.
You know,
that's a good question.
Hey,
remember the movie Angels in the Outfield?
I certainly do.
The one line with the moon looks like God's thumbnail. You remember that?
I don't remember that specific line, but okay, I believe it's in there.
That one stands out to me. Maybe it was a waxing crescent that night.
If it looked like the thumbnail, like the white part of the moon would have been the nail, and the dark part would have been like, what is that called? Your cuticle?
Oh, Duke, I got to get to Elks Nation.
Trying to get over the gibbous thing.
I get like, as if you guys are acting like I'm speaking a different language.
A little bit.
This is very common knowledge.
SKS, is this? Nada.
Well, Sean's a meathead, athlete, jock type.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, this is what separates people like me from you guys. I'm a lifelong.
He's better than he's better than you guys.
No. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm not saying it's better. I'm a lifelong learner. I never stop learning, retaining information.
I'm not even going to use color on you this time. You said,
well,
you
how
guys,
can you?
Tommy?
I'm addressing 3 individuals of varying shades. Sean's just hanging around because he wants to come in here and brag that he picked the
Castle
second best
baby.
golfer. Oh boy.
Okay. Eddie, what a great interrupt brought to you by Pro Solutions. Giggling.
Oh, good show today, Tommy
Great
G.
show. Good stuff as always. What's on tap for you the rest of the day?
Heading down, shoot Elks Nation with Declan Kruger and Rick. And then I'm going to go pick up some equipment from the ex-CFLer alumni, Calvin McCarty.
Oh.
Yeah, Double E legend.
Mm-hmm.
He works out at AHP, I want to say, Performance out in St. Albert. And I put on a football camp down in Masquachese every year.
Nice.
This is my 4th year doing it for the community.
Yep.
And he's got a bunch of cones and stuff. So I'll go and pick up the equipment and just prep for the camp, man.
Hey, enlightening our future generations in the game. Good
Exactly.
stuff. Eddie, we'll see you on Friday.
All right, boys.
There you go. Eddie Steele with us for the first half of today's show. We got to step out for a quick breather. We do need to get to a sports update first, though, brought to you by Fusion Promo Marketing. Expand your brand, high-quality promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Get noticed at fusionpromomarketing.ca. That's Fusion with the Z. Here is the elitist, the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
For the second time in the nation's history, Spain is World Cup champions. They got a goal from Ferran Torres in 106th minute to defeat Argentina 1-0 and deny Lionel Messi a chance at back-to-back titles in what is expected to be his final World Cup appearance. In the majors yesterday, the Blue Jays dropped the rubber match to the White Sox 3-0 from Toronto. Trey Savage struck out 9 over 6 innings, but gave up 3 earned runs on 5 hits. Elsewhere around the majors, Yankees and Dodgers split a doubleheader. LA taking the first 8-2, Yankees the second 2-1. Rays fall to the Red Sox 6-1, and the Mariners doubled up on San Francisco 6-3 in one of the nightcap games. WCL action from Port Angeles. The lefties take that rubber match over Edmonton 8-2. Riverhawks drop 2 of 3 to the lefties over the weekend. And week 7 of the CFL wrapping up last night. The Blue Bombers stormed back to beat the Red Blacks 36-34 from Ottawa. Some sadness from the CFL as well. Saskatchewan Roughriders linebacker Jaden Dahlke has passed away in a car accident on Saturday night just outside of Regina while the Riders were on a bye week. The 30-year-old linebacker played his college football right here in Edmonton and was a product of Leduc. Open Championship, Ryan Fox joins the list of first-time major winners as he shoots 2 under in the final round, finished 10 under on the week, and claim the Claret Jug. And former Maple Leafs and Edmonton Oilers goaltender Jack Campbell has announced his retirement after 9 NHL seasons. Coming up in hour 3 of the Tom Gazzola Show, we'll be joined by Alan Mitchell from the Lowdown with Low Tide, and here's today's edition of Cam and Eggs. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
It's time to hit the greens. Elevate your golf game with Country Club Tour Golf Academy. No matter your experience, our PGA of Canada teaching pros are here to help. Enjoy lessons year-round between our 7 CCT golf courses and 2 state-of-the-art indoor facilities. Choose the location convenient for you. We offer private lessons, group lessons, expert club fittings, and junior camps. Visit our website to learn more and get ready to take your game to the next level. Booking is easy. Go to countryclubtour.com/golf academy and schedule your lesson today.
The Riverhawks' final regular season homestand is on deck this week. Catch the bobblehead giveaway, a 2K dance party, Margaritaville, and Wizards, Wands, and Magic Night. Don't miss the party. Tickets at gohawks.ca.
The Brick's 55th birthday bash continues with big savings store-wide. Save on furniture, mattresses, appliances, and electronics. Plus, take 55 months to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses, or 36 months on appliances and electronics on approved credit. Find up to 30% off bedroom packages, up to 40% off select mattresses, and don't forget, you could be one of 275 winners with over $155,000 in prizes to be won. Hurry in, the birthday bash ends July 29th at the Brick, saving you more.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh,
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
The Tom Gazzola Show. 60% talent, 40% Swedish hair cream. Edmonton's sports leader. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Hour number 3 of the Tom Gazzola Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by Bet365. Canada just hit the biggest home run of the summer. Bet365 available in Alberta, and it's here to stay. Download the app. Must be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that like button, share, subscribe, all the good stuff as that continues to build up. And then, of course, if you're listening on the dial, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, all that good stuff, thank you. And then X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. All great platforms. You can listen to us in podcast version maybe later in the day, and that works too. However you take in our show and our station, thank you. Appreciate it very much. Tom Gazzola, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you in studio. We're going to talk a little hockey in a little bit. Obviously, we're in the dog days of the off season, so there's some stuff popping up. Obviously, the Bedard trade, or not trade, pardon me, the signing happened, and then Corey Perry. I was looking at the headlines. This is where we're at, boys. Corey Perry excited about his 22nd NHL season, and that's a headline. Jack Campbell retiring, calling it a career. He's going into coaching, he's going to become a. What's the official term they're using? A performance coach. And
identity and performance
That's
coach.
Right. It's kind of a newer thing, but you need some of those. So, yeah, those are the big headlines. And then we got the Women's Open coming up this week, which is going to be great at the Mayfair. And Duke, you're going to be going down there?
We'll see. I think I'd like to. Like, while it's here to check out an event like that, I think is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was in Calgary last summer, I think, right?
Yes.
At one of the courses down there. Maybe I'm jumping back 2 years ago, but either way, I mean, this is a premier event. A lot of big names
awesome.
will be here, so
yeah.
I think it'd be cool to go down and try and take some of it in.
My first ever working situation in broadcast was at the time it was the CN Women's Open. This was 2007 or 7. And I had just started radio and television at NAIT. And they're like, we need volunteers for the broadcast. And I had no clue. I just finished one semester at NAIT because I was in the January intake. And so I volunteer and they're like, all right, great. You're going to be standing on hole 13 or 14 at the bunker. You're going to be holding a boom mic and you're going to get the swings. Like, that's what you're collecting, that audio from the swings. And so I held this big fuzzy boom mic, and I remember Michelle Wee almost smoked me with her drive, missed me by about 3 feet. That was my highlight. I sat there in like 28-degree heat and just held this boom mic. But it was a great experience. And I met one of the execs from Sportsnet, which said, I heard there's a position for the hockey season as Gene Principe's studio runner. I'd like to apply for it, or how do I learn more and get involved? And he's like, here's my card. Email me in September and we'll figure it out. So I did, and I ended up getting that position.
Look at that.
Yeah.
See, Tom, just goes to show it's all about who you know.
Well, or like you put in the work as a volunteer and
nope, it's all about
who you know.
No,
okay. No. Teach them.
That is kind of unique though, that like doing that just had then the opportunity not fall in your lap, but opened the door to make the right connection that you needed. So
yeah,
never turn down a job, right? That's what they kind of tell you when you're cutting your teeth.
Always say yes.
Always say yes.
Always say yes. So,
Tom Gazzola, yes, man.
Yeah, stood there and baked in the sun.
Probably got a nice tan.
I got a nice farmer's tan, yep, and almost died when Michelle Wee's errant drive, which ended up in the bunker where I was standing just off of, went right in there, and I was like, ooh, that's coming close to me. It was super neat, though. Those ladies can crush it. I know they're not the PGA, and they're not the same power as on the men's side, but they are tremendous golfers. Mayfair is going to be in pristine shape. It should be lush. There's no reason for it not to be after all the precipitation we've gotten. And I think it's going to be a great event. And I think Edmonton's going to be a great host. And festivities are kind of kicking off today. I think there's a big press conference coming up in about 45 minutes. So Brooke Henderson, we'll see how she does. Obviously, our Canadian darling.
Mm-hmm.
What did Eddie describe her as? Oh, she's like, I think darling is a great way to describe her.
Well, yeah, she's very likable.
Yeah.
She's obviously been one of the best players on the women's tour for what's become a long time now. I'm trying to like think, because I remember we were talking, I want to say she was first bursting on when I was still in university, which we're talking like at least 10 plus years ago.
A decade now.
At least.
She's 28.
So she's been doing it for quite a while. She's had a lot of success. The Canadian, like she's very Canadian, I guess, in when you hear her speak and her interviews. Yeah, she's an easy person to root for.
Defending
I guess would
champ.
maybe be the simplest way to put it.
Defending champ on this for this event. So yeah, very easy to root for. She'll be highlighted this week at the Mayfair as we get set for another wonderful event, the CPKC Women's Open. I had to, when they renamed it, it's confusing, right? But yeah, CPKC Women's Open, formerly the CNO Women's Open. So that gets going in our city. You can text us, 1-833-401-1440. We want to hear from you. People talking about the moon. Brandon, you're getting some love for it. Jay and Victoria says, Duke teaching us all. Dave, what?
You go ahead. Read Dave's first. That was the Matt and Leduc's moon text was, said grade 6 in Manitoba, they're still learning how to spell Winnipeg. A shot at Eddie and his Manitoba education.
Yeah. He's not here, man, to defend himself.
That's what makes it great.
We're talking about Bryson and the controversy. Dave in Section T says, I thought Rory calling Bryson out for wasting everyone's time by staying out practicing in the dark was necessary, unless he left a massive tip for the staff. Keeping everyone waiting during a major tournament was a douche move. Montana to Rice. This is clever. Randy Moss at Lambeau Field is my favorite moon.
Yeah, someone else had texted in saying something about double cheeked up full moon. That's his favorite. Do you remember when Moss did that? I'm pretty sure it was Joe Buck, right? Was on the call, and he like literally was like disgusted.
He was, that is
awful. Is just repulsive. Why would you do that? And it's like he didn't even actually pull his pants.
Like, yeah. But that was at a time when the antics of the celebrations, they were awesome, but it was like drawing the ire of the, I suppose, traditionalists in football that they had to like really crack down on it and flag celebrations they thought were too much. So, yeah. Honest Andy says, I thought the Canadian Women's Open started August 19th. Well, and what the hell are they doing here already? They have an event today, or is that just getting ahead of it? Am I lost, Duke?
No.
I'm looking.
The CP August 19th to 23rd.
Oh.
So maybe like are they
So it's
here?
the
Are
kickoff
people
event.
here for some sort of like a
I thought
promo type deal?
Yeah, then that's what it is. Because I'm like, it's here already. Thank you for the correction on that. Yes, it does start on August 19th. They're having a promo event today. So that's where I was misled. I apologize. Thank you for calling me out. Honest Andy on it. Beer Man on it. Totally got in my own way. The rig says, Tommy, it sounds like you have a history of getting in the way of the athletes. And Brendan, you were correct with the term cuticle. Yes, August 19th, but there's an event today taking place at the Mayfair. So my bad. I got crossed up. I apologize. You blew it, Tom.
Now we know.
Now we know.
Now we know.
Thank you for correcting me on that, keeping me honest. Appreciate it. We'll step out for a quick breather. When we come back, more of your texts. We'll go through the sporting world. And then we also have Low Tide coming up as well. Is Low Tide next? Yeah, Low Tide's next. So we'll go hockey talk with Low Tide. Yeah, all right. Thank you for keeping me honest. Lots of texts coming in today on this Monday edition of the Tom Gazzola Show, brought to you by Bet365 here on Sports 1440.
Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant in the Silent Ice Center, just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails in a stylish, modern atmosphere. Perfect for a casual meal or a special night out. Summit offers a refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Make Summit Restaurant your destination tonight.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Everything is going to be okay. Any business, regardless of size, can stumble occasionally. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. If your business is facing financial challenges, our team of chartered insolvency and restructuring professionals have corporate debt recovery solutions that work. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. Chances of a positive outcome increase if you engage Faber sooner rather than later.
I missed one payment, then another. Now I feel behind on everything. I can't keep up.
Falling behind happens to more people than you think, but there is a solution. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. Together, we can create a plan that fits your situation and helps you get caught up and back in control. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. Then a volunteer gave me a medal. But I don't want participation trophies, unless they're from Bet365. With their daily prize matcher game, I win by matching gold coins, cherries, and more. Take that, denim man. Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we're here to stay.
all of those who corrected me. Yes, the Canadian Women's Open, the CPKC at the Mayfair, is August 19th to 23rd. And I blew it. I totally blew it. So I just want to own that. I blew it in the last segment. There's an event today with Brooke Henderson down there that I'm supposed to go to. I'll try to get down there. But yeah, I just want to own up to my mistake. Totally blew it.
Admirable. Honest.
I have to. I mean, it's
integral. Integrity.
Integral
integrity.
Something like that. Anyway, I blew it. Thank you for calling me out. And you guys are right. I was totally wrong. That'll be great next month at the Mayfair, and Edmonton will be a great host city for it, as always. Okay, let's welcome in Alan Mitchell, Low Tide. You can catch him here on the Lowdown on Sports 1440. Tide, I screwed up, so I'm owning it.
Well, I think the big screw up was you not having an action photo available from this weekend's CFL game. I saw one a couple of weeks ago where you looked poised. You bent at the knees and you're about to leap back as somebody was going to run right over you. And I didn't see any photos that were as good, although you sure look good on television, sir.
Oh,
I mean, no wonder you get invited to all these things that you can't remember the dates for because, you know, you're pretty popular.
Oh, Tide, too kind. Checks in the mail, my friend. And listen, speaking of that instance from a week prior, I did go and say hi to the crew on the truck going into the game. And Greg Anselmo, who works like the replay and all of that, he's a master and a wizard at getting anything, like any film or any like reference video. He's like, Tommy, I've got all of the shots from every angle in HD. Just give me a flash drive and I'll put them on there for you. And he did. So yeah. And he, that image you're thinking of where I look like I'm about to die with my eyes closed and I'm like trying to brace myself. He actually paused the program monitor, the big monitor in the truck on that. And I'm like, thank you, Greg. I really appreciate that. So yeah, it didn't happen this week though. We were all good. And Tide, you were way too kind. And yeah. Anyway, you know, speaking of that too, like it has been a bit of a whirlwind the past couple of weeks, but we're into week 3 of the Tom Gazzola show on Sports 1440. And I feel like it's starting to settle in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. It's the thing about radio is it's like being a mailman. For mailmen, the mail comes every day. You do it, you're done, you're okay. That's good. But then the next day you get up and you got to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And radio is a little bit like that too, where you finish off Friday and you go, well, I worked hard this week, everything's fine, and then Monday comes along and it's I love the business, love it forever.
Mm-hmm.
But there are deadlines and there are commitments and there's preparation. I'm sure you do way more than me because you're so prepared for everything. But
Sure.
But it's fun. It's great having you on the radio. It really is. I do miss the Carious garden report though. So if you could start a garden, and I like more mom stories if you could. I think your mom is one of the most entertaining people I've ever heard about. So more of those, please, Tom.
I can do that for you, Tide. Anything. And we stopped at my parents' place last night. My brother was in town with his girlfriend up from Calgary, and she made a wonderful meal. Homemade burgers. Low Tide. That's how she says hamburgers. Hamburgers. So sweet little Polish lady. And I went home with a huge care package like moms do because she's worried about her boys.
Because you're not eating enough, Tommy.
Oh, I am. Trust me. I need to work some of this off, but another tremendous meal from Eva G. Okay, Ty, let's get into business here because you wrote about Mike Babcock and some questions in regard to him and his, foray into coaching the Oilers, which, to me, I'm just like, whatever. Let's see how this goes. But what are some of the things you highlighted in your most recent article that you think are important when it comes to Babcock and the Oilers?
Well, the most important one is the one that can't be answered. That is that, will this gifted offensive team finally find the consistent discipline to play a defensive structure that they can repeat and win with? I remember when Todd McClellan came here and he instituted defensive structure, and it took some time, but it was pretty solid, and then the Oilers would lose it. And then they did the same thing all down the line, including Chris Knobloch had a really good system, but they were unable to, and some of us injury, but the Oilers' attention to detail defensively has always been an issue for them. So Babcock is he's the strictest coach they'll ever have. But there's also things like, when Babcock was in Toronto and the team was losing, he oftentimes would, take a guy like Leo Komarov and put him on a line that had skill, and that was sort of the penance you had to do if he was unhappy with your defensive play. So I think those things will come into play. I think that I looked for players who are not terribly popular with fans who Babcock might adopt as his favorites. He did that with Komarov. Certainly, Oiler fans remember Mac T and guys like Marty Reisner and Toby Peterson. And the one guy that I wondered there is Matthias Janmark, who has lost all of his offensive ability. It's all gone.
Yep.
His hands are gone, but he can still penalty kill and he can still skate. So because the fans play along at home and they've already got the roster set, and Babcock isn't, it's just not possible for him to see eye to eye with everybody. So there's going to be a lot of changes, internally. I wonder about the goalie. I think Anderson probably goes in with the best chance because Babcock is familiar with them. And then Jari can, find his way and sort of be the guy who comes in and saves the day if that does come to happen. But there's some real questions about how this roster is going to look. And the big one, of course, is will because this is up to McDavid and Draisaitl. I mean, if they can buy in all they want, but in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final and Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, for 2 years in a row, they didn't win, and part of the reason they didn't win was they broke down defensively. And can Babcock correct that? If he can, this team can win the Stanley Cup. That's the big question.
Tide, speaking of those two, and this has been a thing that has plagued every single Oilers coach that has come in here and tried to change things and get things right. But will Mike Babcock be the guy that can actually avoid the quote unquote nuclear option? Do you think that happens? And how long till people are complaining about it? And I think when fans complain about it, they have a reason to gripe.
Well, here's the problem. The Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is like 33 now. And I love him as a player, but he's not a second-line center anymore. And if you're going to play Draisaitl and McDavid together, then you're going to play Nuge as second-line center because he's the most obvious guy, then you have to hope that, say, Podkolzin and Zach Hyman can play on that line with Nuge and prop him up. And I think if he's going to play them together, Babcock will find when he gets here. If he plays those two guys together, then Dan Bowman needs to go out and get a second-line center. And from what's happened this summer and every summer, second-line centers are really difficult to get, let alone first-line centers. So I think Babcock is, because he, it is a nuclear option. They are effective together. But I think that he will probably fade that idea when he sees the personnel and realizes that, he's got, two of his best wingers are Nuge and Hyman, and they're 33 and 34. That's old, and they've got Podkolzin and Savoy, and I like Howard, but there's a lot of youth there. So, Babcock's going to have to make some tough decisions, and I think one of them is he'll run McDavid as number one center and Draisaitl as the second line center, and then Bowman can cast about and try to find a second line center replacement. But I don't think that player's on the roster, honestly.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And you bring up the age issue, and I know you tweeted about it just an hour ago that Oilers have 30% of its roster age 27 and under. Winter is coming. Excellent reference to Game of Thrones, of course. But this was something that was discussed a year or two ago, is they need to get younger, and they tried to get younger. And do you have faith in where they are at age-wise in the life cycle of this team, or you think that the window is closing much faster because of, just how things have progressed with this roster?
Well, I think Jeff Jackson made a really good deal for Matt Savoy. And last year, after January 1st, Savoy replaced McDavid on the top line. replaced Nuge on the top line. Sorry, didn't mean to scare people. He replaced Nuge on the top line. So Savoy, McDavid, Hyman became the top line. Now you've got Howard. But, Hyman is a unique player. I don't know that anybody could ever replace him. He's a very unique player. But if Howard doesn't work out, they've got no one. And they don't have draft picks for ages. And you can say, well, they can pick somebody up. But not high end, Tommy. You need the way you get number one centers or number one wingers is you draft 15 or higher overall. Well, the Oilers don't do that, and they also trade their first round picks. So they can make deals like they did for Howard and Savoy, but they're running out of players to trade, or they can offer sheet. But I think any general manager now who gets caught flat-footed on an offer sheet after what's happened in Edmonton and now Anaheim should lose their job immediately. It's going to be harder to offer sheet players, I think, moving forward, because everybody's going to have their, ducks in order. And if they can't sign somebody, they'll trade them. Okay. So, I think the Oilers are in a tough spot, not for the third line guys and the fourth line guys and the third pairing guys. I'm talking about real difference makers. And they have gotten lucky. Like, they got Maroon for basically nothing. And that was a great deal. But you can't count on that. You can't count on it just occurring. You'll take your bets, but you won't necessarily work out. And that's why not having first-round picks. I mean, the last guy they had who was a first-round pick who worked out splendidly was Holloway. And the guy who did that before then was Broberg. And both those guys were lost via offer sheets. So I think that when you look at this team right now, the difference between the group of young players they have between 20 and 23, and then youngish players between 24 and 27 is really stark. And I don't know how to improve it. I think offer sheet is the best way, but they could have given an offer sheet to Maverick Bourque this year, but he got traded and signed. It's going to be tough. It really, truly is. And I'm not trying to scare anybody, but that's the job of Stan Bowman. He's done well getting third and fourth line guys, but those real skill guys, they cost assets, and usually it's a first round pick.
It will be fascinating to see the offer sheet used more so as a tactic as opposed to it always felt like a desperation move in previous years. And now with the way it has been, let's call it weaponized, it's going to be interesting to see how that starts to evolve and develop in next year's offseason and the ones after that. And teams have to really be aware what they're exposing themselves to with their RFAs. And that's kind of a new element and wrinkle to the game that I'm kind of curious about in a mischievous way, let's say. How about that?
Yeah. Well, it's true. And remember when Kevin Lowe sent an offer to Buffalo for Thomas Vanek at the Disco, and they matched. And remember, they were threatening to, we're going to get you, but nothing ever came of it. And then they got Dustin Penner, and Penner played here for several years. But it was a one-off. It was an outlier. And now, the Carolina Hurricanes, I think they go into their planning going, okay, who are going to offer sheet? They got Miller Condre Miller out of New York. They were aggressive on Evan Bouchard, and they'll be aggressive again. And I think that New Jersey now, they've got an analytics general manager. That is going to be an everyday occurrence. And I think that we're going to see teams probably aggressively offload some of their veterans at the deadline for maybe less than you'd expect, because they would, if there's a year on the contract, they might want to offload the player because they plan on offer sheeting and kind of restructuring. This is a new world, and younger players are going to get paid more too because of the offer sheet. So look out. If you're 33 years old and you're making $4 million, you might be making $2 million. The same player might be making $2 million a couple of years from now.
Yeah. Low Tide joining us now. Good point. Alan Mitchell with us. Okay. Well, do you want to talk about younger guys making big bucks? Because Connor Bedard's the newest guy to be added to that list at $75 million over 5 years. What'd you think of that deal when you saw it?
Well, it's massive and huge, but it's the new world order, and they have to make the offer, and you got to get it done, right? And there's the kid out in San Jose who's the big ticket now. And I don't know. My brain doesn't go that high. You're better with math because you've made so many millions in your life. But
Yeah.
what does Celebrini get, Tom?
People were saying 20 mil, Tide. Like that was the number that was being thrown out there a week or two ago.
Yeah.
And like Bedard coming in at 15, I saw that yesterday. And I'm like, damn, that's pretty good. And then we're kind of in this period of adjustment where, you know, the Carlson thing kind of changed the mindset. It's, I think, forcing us to shift how we look at the numbers and evaluate when a guy's ready to pop and get that big contract, maybe earlier than we're used to. And so I almost thought to myself, like, well, that seems like actually a half decent deal for Bedard. I'm not going to say bargain, but maybe it ends up being like that 2 or 3 years from now.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's fair what you just said. You know, like you worry about injuries, but if Bedard's healthy, based on where we're headed here, you know, and you know, the next person who says the Leon Draisaitl contract isn't a bargain needs to really give their head a shake, because that deal is aging like fine wine. And you know, McDavid taking a discount, a massive discount, is just, you know, the most amazing thing, and we don't talk about it enough. But you know, McDavid is, you know, if these kids are getting what they're getting, then McDavid is worth the absolute moon. And you know, I don't know that he'll ever take it because he's not wired that way. But you know, along with all the other things we appreciate about Edmonton's captain, I think we should appreciate that, because he's so badly underpaid. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Would that be a waxing crescent moon by any chance?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, Brandon's shaking his head at me because it came up in or out earlier, and we're talking about the moon phase, the gibbous moon. And now that'll stick with me forever after that. But anyway, Tide, how will you remember Jack Campbell?
I'll just remember it as being an unfortunate story. You know, he had a really good year. He got a contract. It didn't work out. Fans were down on him. We found out, just from a human point of view, the struggles that he went through, and you know, we expect a lot of these individuals, and you know, sometimes that whatever, and we're all human. We all have, you know, our issues and demons, and I thought that, honestly, I don't know Jack Campbell, but I'm proud of the way he conducted himself. I think he was honest and real. And I wish him the best of luck in retirement. And I hope all goes well. And it didn't work out. It was a business deal that went sideways. But the way he handled himself when he went down to Bakersfield, I know some people who are near the Bakersfield franchise, and all that I ever heard about him was that he was first class all the way. So I think in a truly difficult situation, he handled himself as well as anybody could expect. And I will respect him always for that, and I wish him the best.
Yeah, he's a very good, kind human being, and I always enjoyed my conversations with him. And you know what, Tide? Sometimes, actually most of the time, it wasn't even about hockey. And he would tell you stuff. He was telling me about they were going to pick out their setting venue for his wedding in Cabo, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my fiance's dude, we're working on this." Like, how, you know, you ask, like, how involved are you guys? He's like, I just let her kind of set the course, and I follow and support. And you get to know people that way, and I always enjoyed my time around him. So he's going to be identity and performance coach with Novus Global. So, hey man, first rounder that ended up putting together an NHL career where he ended up being an all-star and had some good moments, obviously some tough moments. I thought you summed it up really nicely. What's coming up on the show today, Tide?
Well, we're going to be talking about World Cup. Spain just too good, tactically speaking. They're brilliant. And they had an answer for Messi when no one else did. We'll talk about the Elks, who are looking good. The Ottawa Red Blacks should hand in their football cards after their weekend action. So we'll talk about that. And, you know, obviously the Oilers, you know, like, where are they going? What are they doing? They got all that walking around money. How are they going to spend it? So we'll talk about that too. And the Jays, who are, you know, people are mad at Savage or whatever, but if their bats don't wake up, man, this is just a wasted year. They are asleep at the plate, just absolutely asleep. So we'll talk about all that, and we'll have a good time.
You know what? They're nothing like the 1977 Montreal Expos. So don't even make that comparison, okay?
I won't. I remember that. I remember all the Expos teams.
I know.
All right, Tommy.
Okay, we'll
Thanks,
see you,
man.
Tide. There you go. Low Tide, Alan Mitchell, the lowdown coming up at noon here on Sports 1440. Good stuff. He's brilliant, as always. Love that guy. Okay, we got to take a quick breather when we come back. Cam and Eggs. Cam Tate delivering once again on this edition of the Tom Gazzola Show here on Sports 1440.
What's 426 divided by 12? Okay, if I carry the one, yeah, we're out. Go Auto has a free credit calculator that does the math for you. See what you could qualify for, estimate your payments, and get a better idea of what's in your budget. Because shopping for a vehicle is exciting, but crunching numbers, yeah, not so much. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780 all sevens.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
It's dollar drink summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. Stop in and see us today. 13215 97th Street or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country. Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at what'syourshare.ca.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
The Tom Gazzola Show. 60% talent, 40% Swedish hair cream. Edmonton's sports leader. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we're here to stay.
9:49. Hello, good day. Thank you for joining us here on the Tom Gazzola Show, brought to you by Bet365. Tom, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you as we roll along. It's been it's flying by today, actually, boys. Like, I don't know. Like the first couple hours with Eddie, I was like, that was fast. And then this third hour must mean we're having fun.
It's our own version of Monday Morning Magic here in the studio.
Which is happening down at K-Days.
You a K-Days guy, Tom?
Not anymore. I was a huge K-Days
because
guy.
you're an Edmonton lifer. So back when it was still Klondike Days or Capital X Days or whatever they were calling it for any number of years, like were you the guy as a teenager, early teens, like down there for every concert and you go there to get hammered with all your buddies? And is there an equivalent of Nashville North at K-Days?
I don't think so. That's pretty unique to, and I know they have a bunch of party tents down.
I think it's unique how popular it is, but it's just a tent with live music. It's a
party
that serves alcohol.
Right.
I don't really know like what's the. You get some good art, and granted, over the years, like I remember when I was going to Stampede more frequently, the names that played inside Nashville North were not names that you knew.
Right.
They were all just maybe like a lot of local people or smaller artists from across Canada. They come up and play for like several hours straight. They take a few breaks. They play the whole afternoon in there or whatever.
Yeah.
Now you get usually a headliner each night.
Yeah.
Really, that's someone, but I don't know. I just like live music.
Same.
I don't need to know who it is. If I'm in there and just to have some drinks and party, I don't need it to be a headliner. I need someone that's going to play some music. Maybe you can get a little dancing done too, keep everybody in a good mood. Regardless if I have them as a saved artist on Spotify or not.
No, that's fair. I used to love Klondike Days as a kid. Love going. We get the ride pass and go wild, have bite to eat, the carnival food, all that stuff. I loved it. And then when I was 15 or 14, we did a big family vacation down to Disneyland, SeaWorld, Universal Studios. And I could never look at K-Days the same. Because to me, like K-Days was the thing in the summer.
Right.
And then, you get older too. Naturally, it's like, it's not so much about the rides. And then you eventually, like late teens, and you become of legal age and it is about partying. And I would go to a lot of concerts. Actually, I just saw Dan walk by. I saw Tupelo Honey at K-Days in the tent back in the day. Yeah. And it was great. A great show. And, I saw July Talk. They got rained out one year. I think this is 8 years ago, something like that. And I got to know Peter Dreimanis a little bit. I would talk to him every now and then. He's like, hey, we're going to go play a show at this little bar. It's just going to be like a little like half-hour acoustic set if you want to come hang out and have some beers after. I'm like, yeah. So that was my last memory of K-Days, Capital X. And Capital X, I don't listen, it's supposed to be fun for kids. Hopefully it's safe down there. I know sometimes people can get rowdy and stuff, especially at night, but it's just not the same. And now I kind of stay away, but that's my adventure, if you will.
And you've had some good ones.
Oh, I've had some times. Absolutely. But yeah, that used to be my jam. And then you just get older and things change and priorities change. And yeah, the last time I was there was probably at that July Talk thing. So there's that. We need to get to Cam and Eggs. What's Tater cooked up for us today? Let's hear it.
It's funny. We ask questions about things we think we already know the answers to. Friday night at Commonwealth Stadium, it was hot, late 20s. So hot the field looked like it was having an existential crisis. I'm sitting there thinking, are these Edmonton Elks the real deal, or are they just having a really good September, even though it's July? Because in Edmonton, we've learned that hope is basically a trap door with comedy timing. Here come the Lions from BC, or Kelowna, depending on who's paying the bills, and the Elks are 4-1. Nobody in Edmonton trusts an undefeated record the way we do. We look at it like it owes us money. Then everything falls apart in the first. Who knows? Maybe they were a quarter. The offensive line looked like they were playing in flip-flops. A sack on their own 30-yard line gives BC perfect field position. The Lions punch it in. 7-0. We're all thinking, here we go again. That's the Edmontonian Civiv anthem right there. Interceptions, fumbles, missed opportunities, the usual suspects pile up like they're on a schedule. But something shifts. The Elks respond. They drive down the field methodically, engineering their own touchdown. Then another. 19-7. Suddenly, Edmonton owns the third quarter. They're playing like they actually believe they're supposed to win. The Lions claw back late, 19-14, with 1 minute 58 seconds remaining. Close. Nervous. Chaos at Commonwealth. But here's where it gets weird. The Elks didn't panic. They didn't collapse into that familiar fetal position of Edmonton football failure that we've perfected over decades. No, they closed it out. Real. That's the whole ball game. It's not about perfection. It's about who you are when everything gets messy. Character. Bending without breaking. The Elks answered Friday night. Not with a pristine record, but with grit, authenticity, the stuff you build on. After the game, Coach Mark Killam said the game was ugly. And yes, it was. But they survived, winning 19-17. Now they're 5-1. So yeah, they're legitimate. And maybe, just maybe, so is hope. Cam and Eggs, Sports 1440.
All right. Cam's liking what he's seeing from the Double E. They're legit a quarter of the way or a third of the way through the season at 5-1. Huge test this Thursday at Mosaic against the Riders, who are 4-1 and coming off a bye week. And then we do the double dip thing where the Riders come here August 1st. That should be a doozy of a game as well. And hopefully the stands are packed. Maybe we get a great game this Thursday that tantalizes the Elks fans and Elks Nation. And we get a great night at Commonwealth again on the 1st. All right, we need to step out for a quick break. Before we do that, we do need to get to a sports update with Brandon, brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton Common, your one-stop shop for all things welding. AWSwelding.ca. Here's Brando.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Full set of games in the major leagues of baseball today, including the Blue Jays opening a set at home against the division rival Tampa Bay Rays. Dylan Cease taking the hill post All-Star break for the first time for Toronto. First pitch coming just after 5 o'clock. Catch that game right here on Sports 1440. Joined in progress at the conclusion of the Jason Gregor Show. Elsewhere, Yankees hosting the Pirates. Orioles in division matchup as well as they visit the Red Sox at Fenway Park. Dodgers take on the Phillies from Philadelphia. And the Seattle Mariners take on the Reds from the Pacific Northwest. 4 games in the WNBA tonight, including the Toronto Tempo at home against the Las Vegas Aces. Coming up in hour 4 of the Tom Gazzola Show, we'll be joined by Mario Tirabassi from CHGO Sports covering the Blackhawks and Brady Henderson from ESPN covering the Seattle Seahawks. I'm Brendan Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience, All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
At GS Construction, people grow with the company. 50 years of experience doesn't live in a binder on a shelf. It lives in our people at every level, passed down on every site. Many of us started with a shovel in our hands and built whole careers here. The work is honest. The company's been around since 1974. So if it all sounds good to you and you want to grow with us, GS Construction is currently looking for experienced pipe layers and topmen. No shovel required. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Alberta, this one's for you. Around here, trust takes a few winters. It's why players have known Jackpot City since 1998. Home to hundreds of exciting casino games, live dealer action, and new adventures waiting to be discovered. Jackpot City, nothing beats the original. Please play responsibly, 18 years or older, Alberta only.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca.
Edmonton, the legend has been reimagined. Check out the all-new 2026 Subaru Outback with Subaru's legendary symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive, impressive cargo versatility, advanced safety technology, and an IIHS top safety pickle board or higher for 17 consecutive years. The Outback delivers confidence wherever adventure takes you. Whether it's the daily drive, the mountain getaway, or anything in between, the all-new Outback is built for the journey. Test drive it today at your local Subaru dealer. Welcome to Uncommon.
The Tom Gazzola Show. All gas, no brakes. Edmonton's sports leader. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Final hour of the Tom Gazzola Show, Monday edition. Of course, title sponsor, Bet365. Check out Bet365's early payout for baseball. When your team goes up by 5 runs, you get paid out immediately. No stress about blowing a big lead. Download the app and see what early payouts all about. You can text us, join the conversation. 1-833-401-1440. If you're listening on the AM dial, thank you. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, we appreciate it. And of course, if you're watching over on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch, fantastic. Any way you consume this fine program, we appreciate so very much indeed. All right, we're going to go to Chicago. We're going to talk about those Blackhawks and Connor Bedard with Mario Tirabassi from CHGO Sports. And appreciate you hopping on today, Mario. And a lot to be excited about. I have 5 more years at least of Connor Bedard, which is great. I know he's banged up after that shoulder injury he suffered a few weeks ago and the surgery subsequently and all of that. But when I saw that yesterday, that he got 5 years, 75 mil, I'm like, oh, there's the deal, because he was kind of the next guy everyone seemed to be worried about. And after the Leo Carlson saga, everyone said, what is Bedard going to get? Now we know. What do you make of the contract, Mario?
Yeah, Tom, it's kind of a big sigh of relief from a Chicago standpoint, because when the dust kind of settled on the frantic, news yesterday or Saturday rather about, the signings, everyone was waiting on it. Everyone was wondering, is it going to be 8 years? Is it going to be, 17, 18 million like Carlson? Is he going to sign an offer sheet? All this stuff. When it came down to it, 5 years and 15 million, it feels like best of both worlds, not only for Bedard, but also for the organization, because you give them a little bit of flexibility with, moving forward, their cap situation, not taking what he could have deserved, 18, 19, 20 million even over the length of the contract. But to do it at 15 gives you a little bit of flexibility for other contracts that the Blackhawks are going to expect to sign to big numbers. Obviously, Byram's extension kicks in next year, but you'll also have, an Artem Levshinov extension, a Sam Renzel extension. In a few seasons, you'll have Anton Frondel and Oliver Moore and Roman Kantarov. And these are all guys that I think the organization is expecting that they'll have to, give some decent amount of money to, because they expect them to develop into players that earn that money. So with Bedard not taking all that he probably could have, it gives the organization a little bit of flexibility. And then on his side of things, the 5 years is kind of perfect because he gets to give the Blackhawks a window of, you got 5 years to become a contending team. Like, he's the ultimate competitor. He does not want to keep slow playing this rebuild. I don't think anybody does anymore in Chicago. But he obviously is giving them 5 years to kind of get to that point where they're back contending for something real. And then also, if things go south in Chicago, he walks to free agency at the age of 25. Like, that's not bad for a guy that you're expecting to be one of the top 10 to 5 best players in the league once he hits his stride in his prime. So it really works out for both sides. And I think anything but excitement from Chicago fans. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you should feel pretty good about this bit of business.
Yeah. And I think that next contract, he's going to be probably a $20+ million player, considering where we're going in the hockey world and with salaries and all of that. So a neat bit of business for Kyle Davidson to get this done at 15 million. But it's part of two. I don't know how you look at it. When the Karlsson saga was happening, this is the shifting landscape in the hockey world monetarily, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with the salary cap going up significantly year over year, as it's projected to do, that's not a world that the NHL has lived in for quite a long time. We've had a few years of flat caps. Like, teams really had to get creative with how they wanted to structure their cap and their contracts. And we saw more often getting to those max term lengths, because then you could stretch out the money a little bit. Yeah. But now that there's money to be had, and I think a new generation of player is more willing to bet on themselves rather than say, oh, I'm going to be super loyal to this organization that could just cut bait on me whenever they wanted. I think we're seeing players feel like they can maximize their money by getting to a third contract when they're in their mid to late 20s, rather than that being their second contract, or a fourth contract rather than their third contract, and really being able to cash in. And I think too, like, teams are probably more willing to bet on their younger players than they were before. I feel like 10 years ago, you would have thought that, guys going into their second deals, their early 20s, it's more or less bridges and prove it deals. Like, we want you to prove that you're going to be a generational superstar more often than we bet that you're going to, so we're going to pay you like one. And I think a lot of teams have kind of learned from past mistakes of just like, let's pay for what we expect a player to become, and then if they hit their mark, we look smart, rather than let's pay for what a player was and then they fall off a cliff, like we've seen in Chicago before, where Brent Seabrook was given a massive contract extension in 2016 when he was on the other end of his career for all that he had done for Chicago, which I'm not going to knock him for. Earn your money, but it was a bad bit of business in the long term.
Mario, you kind of touched on, Bedard giving the Hawks 5 years, and then they can see where they're at and obviously work on that next deal, and which is obviously down the road as well. But there were always these whispers, or some would think, people would roll through Edmonton and they would talk about Chicago and be like, well, I don't know how long Bedard wants to stick around there. What's your understanding of his commitment to Chicago and the Blackhawks organization, one that is kind of trying to put it all back together and reclaim that glory that it had a decade ago?
Well, I think honestly, nobody wants to be on a team that's going to be a perennial loser. So I think the amount of losing that he's done, he doesn't want to do that his entire career. He doesn't want to do it his entire time here in Chicago. And he's been pretty, pretty steadfast in saying that, he wants to win.
Mm-hmm.
He's also been pretty steadfast in saying that he likes being in Chicago. He's committed to the organization. There's been a lot of times where he's spoken about how much he loves his teammates and he loves the city, and he's, treated well and as he should be.
Mm-hmm.
And the outside noise to him is just that. And, what we heard from his agent, following the signing of the contract, and we'll hear from Connor today. He's supposed to talk to the Chicago media at noon, Chicago time. The extension is a commitment to the team. The extension is, a commitment to the city and to his teammates. He believes in the direction the organization is going. He believes in the guys that are around him. And I think that is, you can say that, and that can be a nice PR spin, but also for the fact that, like I was saying before, he kind of took less money than he probably deserved. And I think that that's a little bit of a little nod to the organization. Like, look, I believe in this team getting put together the right way so we can all contend together.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to leave a little bit of money for that flexibility to happen. So, from his mouth, there's never been any, wavering of wanting to be a Blackhawk. And I think a lot of that outside noise is, fans trying to hope and pray that, you can Zapruder film his body language and say, oh, he hates Chicago. He'll definitely come to, insert, 31 other NHL teams here. He'll definitely come here. He hates it. I just feel like from hearing him say it directly, that couldn't be further from the truth.
Good point. Mario Tirabassi joining us from CHGO Sports, covering the Blackhawks. We're talking Bedard's new contract and the Hawks in general. Speaking of which, in your opinion, has Kyle Davidson done a good enough job building around Bedard?
That remains to be seen. I think for immediate results, as far as getting guys that maybe could have been available via trade or free agency, that you could say, put this player on Connor Bedard's wing and let him go crazy. No, he hasn't done that. But I think what his vision has been all along, even though, people like myself and people in the Blackhawks world have kind of pounded the table for hey, let's move this thing along a little bit faster. The plan has been to build through the draft and to build through the prospect system, which was an empty cupboard when Davidson took over. And he's done that. He's built up young players alongside Connor Bedard for them all to grow together, but none of them are as good as Connor Bedard is. So it's taken them longer to kind of get to that spot where you can say, okay, they can play in the NHL and they can be serviceable, if not impact players. I think this season, especially starting with Bedard hurt, it's going to be, time for a lot of those guys to take those steps. Guys like Nazar and Oliver Moore, Ryan Green, Nick Lardis. These are guys that are going to be entering years 2 and 3 of their NHL career, and they'll be full-time NHLers to begin the season. That's going to be a lot to ask of them, but that's going to be, those are going to be guys that are pieces around Bedard that are supposed to help him alleviate some of that pressure that's on his shoulders, as well as guys like Anton Frondell and Roman Kantarov. They're both going to be rookies in the NHL this year, even though, Frondell played a few games last year. He'll still be technically a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
And Kantarov, he's played professionally in the KHL in Russia, and he had a great season last year. He's a little bit older, but he is playing in the NHL for the first time. So it's a lot to put on their plate. But that's the plan, is that those guys are all going to be coming up together in the forwards group. And they're going to be the ones that you kind of lean on moving forward. And then there's a bunch of other guys in the prospect system, first round picks, that you can find paths for them to be impactful players in the NHL. But again, a lot of these guys are playing in college, or they're playing in juniors in Canada, or they're overseas still. There's still lots of question marks. But I think this season, the hope is that the Blackhawks get some questions answered on these young guys, and you can kind of point to not just Bedard, but also Frondell and Nazar and Kanserov and more, and you can say this is the young core moving forward,
right?
In the forwards group.
Like further to that, Mario, what is the expectation for the Blackhawks this year? Coming off a 72-point season, obviously there was injuries, and from what I remember last year, the start was actually half decent, and there were a lot of nights where the Hawks were kind of surprisingly good and hanging around, and then it kind of the wheels fell off a little bit. But in your opinion, for 26-27, what's the expectation? One, and then what do you think the outlook realistically might be this coming season?
Yeah, I mean, based off of last season's start, like they were in a pretty good groove, and then things kind of fell off when both Connor Bedard and Frank Nazar got hit with injuries,
yes.
One after the other, and then it was, the things weren't the same. But I think this year, we heard it from the players and from the organization at the end of the season last year in the exit interviews that their expectations are to be contenders for the playoffs. They want to be playing meaningful games beyond the trade deadline and into February or into April and May and see where things can go. As much as I want to, rah and believe that wholeheartedly, I don't think that should be the expectation, because that would require at least like a 15-point plus improvement based off of last year's results to even be in that conversation. And without having Bedard for the first 3 or 4 months and probably missing maybe all of October into November, that's going to be a tough task to accomplish. And maybe there is a move that could kind of put a Band-Aid on that opening of the season where they bring back Patrick Kane, which has kind of been, simmering here in Chicago. Maybe you bring him back and give some of those young guys someone that still got some gas left in the tank, to kind of patch over missing Bedard to begin the year. And then when Bedard comes back, maybe that's someone who plays with Connor Bedard and plays on the power play and can give you a little bit of that offense that you might be missing. But I still think even doing that, it would be hard to kind of look at this team and say they're definitely a playoff contender.
Yeah.
I think the realistic expectation is, as it's been over the last few seasons, they've made 9, 10, 11-point improvements over the last 3 years. If you get another 10 to 12-point improvement from last season, you're talking about a team reaching the mid-80s. And I think that with how many young players and unproven players that they're playing with, that would be a successful season technically. I just don't know how many people are going to keep being receptive to technically improved and technically good and going in the right direction if it doesn't actually result in the playoffs.
That's totally fair. Totally fair. And we went through that for years and years and years here in Edmonton until Connor McDavid rolled in. Mario, this has been awesome. Thank you for the insight and analysis. A good deal for Connor Bedard, $75 million, 5 more years of Bedard, and then we'll see where it goes from here. Enjoy the rest of your summer and hopefully catch up with you when hockey rolls around again in a couple months.
Sounds good, Tom. Anytime.
There's Mario Tirabassi from CHGO Sports covering the Blackhawks. Good stuff there from him. And a couple of texts came in regard to the Bedard contract. I'm going to go to EG. Says, I don't agree at all that Bedard took less money than he deserved. Well, what has he done so far that he deserves $15 million? Okay, let's take a look at the body of work, shall we? First season in the NHL, 68 games played, 61 points, dash 44 on a terrible Hawks team. 24-25, first 82-game season, full season, stayed healthy, 70 points, including 23 goals that second year, 22 goals the first year, by the way. And then last year is when you saw him take a step and get into the groove, whatever you want to describe it as, get comfortable as an NHLer. 30 goals, 45 assists, 75 points with 50 penalty minutes in 69 games and minus 18. That's a career best. He was minus 36 the second year. And I think what Mario hit on as well is that you're also investing in the future years and banking on those being quite fruitful, where you look at it and go, well, that's actually a pretty good price point for Connor Bedard and what he's doing. If he's like a 100-point guy this year, Brennan,
oh, then you're laughing.
You're like, okay, that's what 100
for any Oilers fans specifically that maybe scoff at what some of the numbers these guys are getting coming off of their entry-level contracts. And we talked about the Carlson one to death. Like, it's going to be near impossible to actually live up to that money. But this $15 million AAV, this is kind of like the new norm for your top-line player.
Yeah.
And what was Leon Draisaitl's second contract, Tom? He went from his entry-level deal to making $8.5 million.
Yeah.
And up to that point, the final year of his entry-level, he scored 29 goals. Now, he had 77 points. So overall production better than Bedard, but Bedard touched 30. It's a forecast. It's a forecast play. And for a guy who's a number one overall pick, it's a risk that I think the Blackhawks are happily going to take at this juncture. So it's kind of the name of the game these days, is trying to do a little bit of forecasting and cashing in on potential and saving a few bucks in the process.
Sums it up perfectly. The Real Duke says, Canucks Nation is already banging the drum to YVR in 5. Okay. Bringing him home, huh? Bringing him home. Speaking of talking about the Pacific Northwest, we're going to talk to Brady Henderson about the Seattle Seahawks, who are about to be sold or are sold for $9.6 billion. That is billion with a B, to a venture capitalist / tech guy out of Silicon Valley. We'll have that coming up next right here on the Tom Gazzola Show, brought to you by Bet365.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. Then a volunteer gave me a medal. But I don't want participation trophies, unless they're from Bet365. With their daily prize matcher game, I win by matching gold coins, cherries, and more. Take that, denim man. Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Guys, there never seems to be enough time in the day, but you need to make time for this. Ken Franchek here. If you're 40 or over, a quick PSA blood test is crucial for early prostate cancer detection. The Prostate Cancer Center's Man Van is a mobile health clinic driving change for men's health. A few minutes could save your life. To get the Man Van out to your business or event, book today at getcheck.ca.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
I want it.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
$10:23. Happy Monday. Hopefully the rain cleared up. I haven't taken a look outside. Been hunkered down in studio for the last few hours, but maybe we're on our way to a nice Monday. I know there's supposed to be some haze and smoke coming in from some wildfires. That's never good, but hopefully it stays away from good old our town. You can join the conversation, 1-833-401-1440. Tom, Brandon, and Fenny with you as we cruise through this show. Man, it's flying by. Time now to talk a little bit about the Seahawks. Brady Henderson from ESPN joins us now. And the big news, obviously, over the weekend, the sale of the Seahawks to the Kosla family. purchasing the team for a reported $9.6 billion. Huge in the tech field, prominent venture capitalists, the family and Vinod. I hope I'm saying it right, Kosla. Brady, welcome, first of all. And secondly, how's the news being received in Seattle about the sale?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, first of all. I think, look, it just did not come out of nowhere. I mean, ESPN reported back in, what was that, late January or February, that the team was going to be sold. I think everybody knew it was going to be sold eventually. And really, these were, it was the Khosla group and, the group led by Wyc Grousbeck, the former Boston Celtics owner. Really, those were the only two groups that emerged as, okay, everybody knows that they are going to put a bid in. There was always the speculation of whether or not, the Clippers owner, Steve Ballmer, would get involved, maybe even Jeff Bezos, but there was never any substantive reporting that they were going to do so. And so it was really, I think everybody realized it came down to these two groups. And I don't think there is any real surprise. I think that the word I would imagine that is being felt inside the Seahawks organization is, I think there is probably some curiosity about how, and this is not specific to the Khosla group, but how similar are they going to run the team as the Allen family? Because I think you could look at the Allen family from when Paul Allen bought the team in the late 90s to when Jody Allen took them over in 2008 and all the way up until now. And they have been, you could call them model owners, not just in the NFL, but across sports. From the way that they have empowered the people that they've hired, the way that they have certainly been active, but have kind of stayed out of the spotlight and really just conducted themselves in a strong manner, without meddling, without craving the spotlight. And the results speak for themselves. This is one of the most successful organizations in the NFL over the past 20 plus seasons. And so I would imagine that inside the building there is some curiosity about, okay, how different is this new ownership group going to run the team? I mean, my advice would be to, hey, take a page out of the Allen's book and stay out of the way. But, billionaires don't tend to listen to people like me.
They don't listen to other people in general, Brady. You see them with other teams, and I know we have a billionaire owner here with the hockey team in Edmonton, and he's going to do whatever he wants to do because it's his toy, his investment, and that does happen. And I'm glad that we're talking about that because reading the articles about this sale, their son Neil is expected to have a more hands-on role. You called it like curiosity, but is there even leeriness maybe with some Seahawks fans about this, or is it just like, let's wait and see and take a measured approach? But sometimes how fans are, they don't have that.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a certain segment of fans who are still, scarred by, kind of the trauma of the Seattle Supersonics leaving town. And, they got sold to an out-of-town owner in, what was that, 2006, 7, something like that. Yeah, and the owner eventually moved them to Oklahoma City. So that was totally different circumstances. I don't bring that up to say that that's a legitimate threat because I cannot imagine that happening in Seattle. But there are, I think, fans who are still probably scarred from that and are wondering about that. I think that the ownership thing is probably, just a bigger deal for the people inside the building who are going to be answering to those owners and who are really going to feel the effects of the ownership change, however that may present itself.
Yeah, and they have to divest their shares in the 49ers as well, right?
They do, yeah, and that speaks to one reason why this sale is not yet official. This has to be voted upon by owners. I think there's a special meeting set up for August 26th, and I believe it's 3/4 of the owners have to approve the sale. But look, this guy he's already in the club, so to speak. He has been a part-time owner, or I guess a minority owner of the 49ers. So he's already been vetted. His finances are already been vetted. So that will just be a formality once that meeting comes about.
Yeah, that makes sense. Brady Henderson joining us from ESPN. We're talking about the Seahawks, and we're getting closer to training camp rolling around. I know a lot of people are excited about that. Rookies are starting to make their way in and check it in. What are some of the things that you'll be keeping an eye on when camp rolls around? Because I know the glow of victory is still bright around Seattle.
Yeah, and the first thing is the Devin Witherspoon contract situation. And that has been an interesting situation because, you would look at this, and as I've reported, the Seahawks made their initial offer way back in the spring. I mean, when they got the extension done with Jackson Smith and Jigba, and I think that was late March, they immediately turned their attention to an extension for Witherspoon and made their initial offer not long after that. And nothing has really happened since then. And you might look at that and say, well, the two sides are probably far apart on a price. I don't think that's it. I think the Seahawks, my guess is they have been fully prepared to make him the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. That distinction right now belongs to Trent McDuffie of the Rams, who makes $31 million per season in new money. I don't think there's anybody with the Seahawks who doesn't think that Devin Witherspoon is a better player than Trent McDuffie and isn't worthy of a bigger contract than he got. But it takes two to tango, and my sense is that Witherspoon's side, for whatever reason, has kind of dragged its feet. Now, the one possibility is that the agent who represents Witherspoon also represents Christian Gonzalez of the Patriots, who is right up there in terms of one of the top young cornerbacks in the NFL. So maybe that situation has in some way held this one up. I also, and let me put on my tin hat here, I will say this. If you guys know, I'm sure that Hard Knocks is coming to Seahawks training camp.
Yep.
It would not shock me if this situation drags out just long enough for the Hard Knocks cameras to document Devin Witherspoon's agent, looking like the hero and making Devin Witherspoon the highest paid cornerback in the NFL, even though that easily could have happened 3-4 months ago.
Right. I don't think you need a tin hat for that because it's funny how stuff like that plays out and just so conveniently happens to coincide with Hard Knocks rolling in. So I think that there's a little bit of meat there for sure. All right, Brady. Listen, I joke about it myself. I'm a Cardinals fan. I stick with them through thick and thin. I think their owner's a weirdo, but it's my plight every Sunday, and I've watched them get their asses kicked every Sunday essentially for the last 4 or 5 years, maybe even longer. I've stopped keeping track, but give me a perspective on the NFC West this year, which should be, outside of Arizona, a pretty decent conference or division.
Yeah, well, even Arizona, I mean, the last few years, they have played teams tough. They've clearly been undermanned. They've been the least talented team in the division, but they have.
You're being too nice.
Well, yeah, okay, I'm sorry you're both, but they are going to finish fourth in the division, barring some sort of some team getting decimated by injuries. But yeah, look, this is the best team in football, and we tend to think of this as a 2-team race, between Seattle and the Rams, and I still think they're the two best teams in football. But if not for a series of pretty crushing injuries, the 49ers probably would have been right there towards the end of it last season. And so, I think that if you look at the way that those 2 games, or really those 3 games against the Rams went last season, where the Rams-Seahawks games were just completely neck and neck, down to the wire. Probably I think it was 3 games, probably decided by a grand total of like 6-7 points.
Yeah.
And so if you thought that those 2 teams were completely neck and neck in terms of personnel, well, you could very clearly make an argument that the Rams pulled ahead this offseason with the addition of Trent McDuffie, the other cornerback they signed in free agency, Jalen Watson, and of course, Myles Garrett. And so I don't think it's any surprise. I mean, Seahawks fans might, be playing the disrespect card, but look, I think there's a reason why the Rams are, the ones, the betting favorites to win the division. I think you could make a very, very clear case that personnel-wise, they got better than the Seahawks did this offseason.
That's fair. Now, listen, I know it's hard to repeat in any league, especially in the NFL, but if you were to say, hey, the Seahawks have a good chance of repeating, which I think from the outside looking in, they do, how likely and what has to happen for them to make that a reality?
Yeah, I think that the same thing has to happen as what happened in 2014. And I bring that up because I did this study the other day where, looking at what the Seahawks lost this offseason and the players they lost in free agency compared to all that they lost after their first Super Bowl win, and it's night and day. I mean, they lost it seems like half their team.
Yeah.
That last time, Golden Tate, Brandon Browner, Walter Thurman, Red Bryant, Chris Clement. I mean, the list goes on and on. So compare. I mean, and that's not to say that they didn't lose anything this offseason. They lost the Super Bowl MVP and a couple other good players. But what happened, the reason they were able to absorb all those losses in 2014 was because they had a young ascending core that really stepped in and filled the void in a lot of those cases. And young players continued to get better and develop, and they really made up for those players that they lost. And the same thing has to happen with guys like Nicky Manwari, younger guys, Byron Murphy, who's already sort of there, but I think there's a next step that he can take his game to. Gray Zabel, players like that. And so, they've got to, their depth has to shine through again. That's the other piece of it is, they won last season, not just because they had, 6 Pro Bowlers. They had really good depth. And that was part of the reason why they had such good special teams, the best special teams unit in the NFL, according to, some measures. And so I think that depth and the young ascending core has to continue to ascend to, make up for some of what they lost.
Well, there's a lot of Seahawks fans in and around Edmonton and in Alberta, certainly. So they'll be watching attentively all season long. And hey, get ready for training camp. I know it's a grind, but another season is almost here, and I can't wait to see what happens. And yes, I'll watch my Cardinals lose most weekends. But Brady, thanks for the time, man, and maybe we're talking mid-season.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks for having me. Talk to you.
Awesome stuff there from Brady Henderson from ESPN. The Kosla family buying the Seattle Seahawks, $9.6 billion. 9.6. Like, he mentioned Ballmer buying, like Ballmer maybe being involved with this. Ballmer went and bought the Clippers for $2 billion. And I don't even know if I can't remember if they were fully like just for sale or what the asking price going rate was. And that's an NBA team, granted, but Ballmer's like, here's $2 billion. I'm just going to go build a new stadium too, by the way. Like, that's where we're at now, where these teams are worth so much. I don't know how you look at it, but we're talking about teams as much as $10 billion, and we're talking about the Seahawks being worth as much as $10 billion. What did the Lakers sell for? I would have to check, because that was recent. Lakers sale price.
What do you say, Josh?
I believe it was
10.
right around $8 billion.
Oh, was it $8 billion?
Yeah, something right around there.
It's crazy.
I'm seeing, like, this is last summer, the bust to Mark Walter, a $10 billion valuation.
Damn.
That's
and
via ESPN June 18th last year.
And listen, there's prestige in the Seahawks. They've won a couple of Super Bowls. They've been around for 50 years, maybe more. They have a great stadium, great reputation as a franchise. And they don't have the same cachet, let's call it, as the Lakers do nationwide. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. And then they're being sold for the same amount. So imagine what would the Rams sell for now? Let's keep it in LA, right?
Good question.
What would the Pats sell for today? Because the price, even in the last few years, for major league sports teams and the 4 major sports leagues has just skyrocketed. Like, I think the Oilers are worth $4 billion now. Kate's bought them for $240 million in 2008.
Back in January, via Polymarket Sport, the valuation of the Dallas Cowboys was $12.5 billion. The Rams, $10.7 billion. And at that time, the Seahawks were at $7 billion. Take that for what it's worth.
It's crazy. And like,
So the Cowboys are worth more than $12 billion.
Yeah.
Now I think they'd push 15 if we're going off of that.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, the Sportico most recent I have is 2025, which has them at 12.8. And it had the Seahawks at 6.59.
I think
this was the 2025 ranking. So I don't know. I think the Cowboys are probably around 13 at this point, maybe just over 13. But in order, this is when Sportico's 2025: Cowboys, Rams, Giants, Patriots, and Niners rounding out the top 5.
Damn. That's a lot of
Giants, Rams, and Cowboys all over $10 billion.
Triple C in a truck says $9 billion is walking around money for Elon Musk. Yeah, he became the first trillionaire.
Good for him.
That's just unnecessary wealth.
Yeah.
Norman Combine, not surprisingly, drops the Let's Go Texans. Montana to Rice, not surprisingly, says Niners win the division. Healthy Bosa, Warner, Kittle coming back. Greenlaw coming back. You were going to say, Brendo?
Well, Norm and I, we're in lockstep.
Texans fans.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We got great fan diversity in this building from the NFL front.
That's good.
Because you bring a new team to the table and you replace Karius, who was a non-committal bandwagon jumper.
Okay.
That's sort of... he would wear like a Rams jacket. He said it was FX Ram. Doesn't matter. Fenny's on the Bengals. Myself with the Texans. Con man, of course, devout Chargers loyalist.
Always.
Donovan, Dolphins.
Yes, fins up.
But he's sort of much like you, Tom. He's sort of temporarily disowning them during this downtime. Credit to you for saying you stick by him.
Always.
To what extent, I guess we'll see. Declan with the Bills, Low Tide with the Eagles. The only duplicate we have, Low Tide and Mackenzie, both Eagles fans.
Oh, okay. And obviously some success there. Quite a bit of success, actually, with the Eagles in recent years. Yeah. Bud Baker says, hey, Tommy, is Harrison Jr. going to take off or be a bust? Also have him in my dynasty. I need him to step up. I'm worried about Marvin Harrison Jr. wanting out of Arizona.
And then popping off in the next place he lands?
Yeah. I'm afraid of that.
I think rightfully so.
Yeah. All the talent in the world. And there are games where when he's getting the ball, he takes over in like instances, and then, the offense dries up and you're like, well, so much for that. But yeah, that's what I'm afraid of, Bud Baker, is them losing him because he gets fed up with the crappiness of the Cardinals and where they stand. So we'll see, though. I'm hopeful. But first couple of years, there's been like brilliance. And then there's times where you're like, well, they can't even get him the ball. Such is life in Cardinals land. The Bird Gang, staying strong. There might not be many of us in the flock, but the ones who are steadfast. See, Eagle Baby, Triple C in a truck, obviously. He's chirping Montana to Rice. And then this one out of 403 number says, Steel City, baby. Yeah. I get it. You're right. There's a lot of diversity in NFL fandom in Alberta and in Edmonton specifically. All right. We're going to step out for a quick breather. When we come back, final segment here on the Tom Gazzola Show, brought to you by Bet365. Quick break, and we'll wrap things up next.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, winning isn't everything. Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
It's the hard jobs that take know-how, expertise, and the right experience. And that's why, time and time again, GS Construction gets the call when it comes to the hard jobs. Underground projects that are genuinely difficult, like deep installs, tough ground conditions, or tight urban sites. So remember, when it's a hard job, the list gets short, and GS Construction is on it. Want to tackle the hard jobs? We're looking for experienced pipe layers and topmen. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower.
dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
Get ready for Dreams, the ultimate tribute to Fleetwood Mac, live October 10th at Pure Casino Yellowhead's Pearl Showroom. Relive the magic with a 6-piece band delivering the authentic sound, style, and spirit of Fleetwood Mac, featuring iconic costumes, rich harmonies, and unforgettable performances of the greatest hits you love. Tickets from just $44.99. Get yours now at Ticketmaster. Don't miss Dreams, the ultimate tribute to Fleetwood Mac, October 10th at Pure Casino. Pure entertainment, pure action, and pure imagination.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Let's bring it home. Final segment. It's been a fun show. Moved along quite quickly. Lots of topics discussed. A lot of people venting their NFL woes with the season approaching. Training camps, a week-ish for most teams.
This week.
Rookies have reported.
Yeah, this week, a lot of teams rookies over the weekend.
Yeah.
And so this week, pretty much every team's going to have all bodies on deck.
Let's go. Bring it on. We've got the CFLs already. We're into week 8 now.
Elk season's the third over.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Big win over BC. Yeah, football. This is high time for football. It's kicking into high gear, and it's very exciting. And then when football gets going on the NFL side, that generally means that hockey's right around the corner, and before you know it, we're right back into it. So
Before you know it, the dog days of summer will be in our rear view.
Let's enjoy them.
Yeah, I watched very little sports over the weekend, like right hand up.
That's okay.
It's been so jam-packed with like World Cup games, and so I watched I was there for the Elks game Friday night, and Saturday morning came in and did the show with Fenny, went golfing.
Nice.
Came home. Everything was over by the time I got home for the day.
Yeah, lots of early starts in the sports world.
Yeah, so I went for lunch with my buddy after we golfed down at Colonial, by the way. Just
excellent.
Incredible shape. I was blown away, I thought, with how much rain is, because the first time I've been out to a course in 2.5 months, really. So I was a little pessimistic about what things might be looking like, but it was in awesome shape. Great track down in Beaumont. Kind of almost like a little hidden gem here in the capital region. But aside from that, we went for lunch afterwards, and the Toronto game, was on TV in the bar there, and I was watching Trey Ford just dice it up. 100 yards rushing.
Yes, and that one touchdown pass he made to Kenny Lawler, that was good. I mean, you put a ball up for Kenny Lawler, and he's usually going to catch it.
Put it out there for your playmakers.
Yep, and that's why he gets paid big bucks. And I was happy. I like Trey Ford. I'm going to be perfectly honest with everybody. Like I like him. I enjoyed talking to him. I was hopeful that it would work out with him here. His brother is great to deal with. Terrell, obviously with the Elks, all-star caliber DB for Edmonton. And, it didn't work out for Trey. Cody Fajardo stepped in. He's become a leader with the Elks, and it's working right now, which is great. And I think fans here, that's what they want. They want to see the team winning. They want to see the page turned, and I think we're witnessing that firsthand. But Bo Levi goes down. The Ticats went and got Trey Ford. I think it's safe to say across the board, Jake Dolegala ain't it. And So Ford goes and gets a win against Toronto. Was it lucky? Perhaps. But they win ultimately, and Hamilton needed that win. Ford maybe needed it for his confidence, and maybe there's some growth. And with experience and time and age, it starts to work for him. So good to see. That's a big win for the Ticats. Argos, I mean, to me, they're a bit of an enigma. I know they have Chad Kelly. They have a couple of other pieces, but they're always a team of, I don't know if transition is the right word, but there's so many moving parts. Guys are in and out all the time. I know they generally do things on a budget, and I'm being nice about that. So I don't know what to make of the Argos. And then the other thing, like Ottawa had a perfect opportunity yesterday. We talked about it earlier in the show. They blew it. A couple of dropped interceptions that would have ended the game, a goal line stand that the Bombers get, and then they go into OT and it goes to the shootout 2-point conversion format, and they end up losing. So good for the Ticats, good for Trey Ford. No bueno in Ottawa. And I felt bad for the fan base there. And there weren't a lot of people in that stadium at TD Place yesterday. So there we go. There's your roundup on the CFL.
Roundup.
There's your roundup.
And then you obviously working very hard and late Friday night, Tom.
Yeah, very hard.
We're getting eaten alive by mosquitoes as we walked through the Commonwealth parking lot.
Oh, they were bad.
It was bad once the sun went down. The heat kind of receded a little bit. Did any other extracurriculars? You played golf Saturday?
Golf, thank you. Shout out to Dave over at Fortin View for having us out. My dad's a starter out there. So
because you talked about your dad, obviously you got the hip. How did he make out? Did he was able to swing a few or what?
So my uncle helped him. They worked on the range a little bit, got him to minimize his lower body movement and more so kind of OMG old man golf it.
Yeah.
And my dad's 70, so I mean he's an older guy. And you know what? Once he started to get it set in his mind how to just use his upper body, he wasn't hitting it far or anything like that. Not that he ever really did, but when he would connect, he put himself into good spots, and he had some good holes. He had some tough holes, but for him, needing hip replacement surgery, he said the pain was okay. He felt it spike a few times during the round, but he said yesterday he was generally all right. He had some Tylenol or whatever, but yeah. And I think he's getting pretty close here. He's got a consultation with the surgeon right away. And from what I understand, people that get the hip replacement surgery, they generally bounce back pretty good.
Yeah.
And they're quite spry. So I'm looking
going
forward to him being
the
able to
full
do that.
hip replacement, from what I've heard, is the preferable route to just getting it almost like patchwork repaired.
Yeah.
Like my grandpa broke his hip, and he was what I assume is much older than your dad is now, even at that time for my grandpa. And they didn't give him a replacement. They just fixed it. And then it was just bad again.
Yeah.
How in a matter of a short few years later, a lot of pain and immobility and stuff like that. So
yeah,
hopefully it works out for your pops on that front.
Hopefully. I think so. He's looking forward to it too. I think he's fed up with having a bad hip and kind of limping around.
Oh God. Yeah. Listen, very different situations, but I can testify to the lingering injuries and just feeling halfway all the time. My knee was feeling so good. Went and golfed on Saturday and swinging. I was like, it's okay. It is what it is. It's going to be sore afterwards. That's fine. Then, man, this is actually not too bad. Yesterday, back at the farm, I literally went to step on the bumper of my dad's truck. It's a 1-ton.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit higher
than
even mine is. And tried to push off with my bad leg where it then extends too much. And now I literally feel like I'm back at not quite square one, but square two.
Isn't it disappointing when you feel like you're recovering and then you try to do something like step up the truck?
You just get a little too brave, I think.
And it brings you right back down to reality.
Yeah, it's very sore today.
It's a pain in the ass.
It's not great. So I was like, man, I'm able to get playing golf once a week here for the last little bit of summer and enjoy as much as I can. I think I'm probably sidelined for, we'll put it at 1 week right now. Week to week.
He's
current diagnosis.
On the shelf week to week.
Shelved again, total Band-Aid, unavailable. No ability, no availability.
He's recovering. Cat dad texting in. I like this. When my dad had his hip replaced, I remember they wrote yes on one side and no on the other. I had to do that with my knee surgery.
Yeah. Say they put a big like just with a pen, like a Sharpie on your leg. They just put like a check mark on the leg that is the one they're supposed to operate on.
Well, you don't want a Nick Riviera where Dr. Nick replaced the guy's leg for an arm and arm for a leg.
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah. Whoops. The B is for bargain, as Dr. Nick would say on his commercials on The Simpsons. Fanny, how about you? Sum it all up, buddy.
What, the weekend?
Whatever you want.
I saw the Odyssey yesterday.
And?
In 70 millimeter IMAX, as Nolan intended. Listen, very fortunate. One of 5 theaters in Canada that's available. One of 41 in the world.
Don't forget one of them's in Regina.
And don't forget one of them's in Regina. There's 2 in Alberta, Calgary, Edmonton, and then Regina. And I imagine the other 2 are in Toronto because they're lucky that way. It was fantastic. Loved it. Loved every second of it. Guys, this Christopher Nolan guy, he might be one to watch out for. He's just
up and comer, you say.
Just a hot tip. But hey, it was a great weekend. That storm on Saturday was pretty gnarly.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, like going back to the Elks game on Friday, I brought it up on Saturday with Brandon. That last defensive drive of the game for the Elks, Malik Carney gets a sack, Kenny Logan Jr. gets a sack as well. That, like, there was only, I know the reported attendance was like 20,020 people or whatever. It was probably right around the 17 mark, like, actually. But man, it was electric in there for that last drive. I was like, oh, this is what I was like when I was a kid and we had our season seats. It was exciting. So I'm glad that the Elks or the Double E or whatever it is we're going to call them now are
they're back, baby.
They're getting to back. Yeah, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Super encouraging to see they get the win, and then we'll see what happens on Thursday in Sask. That's going to be a tough one, obviously. O-line, Carter O'Donnell nicked up as well, so we'll get more of a report. I know they practice later today, and I know Gregor will probably... Gregor's in this week, right? I know he's taking off right away soon. But he'll probably have an update for us on the O-line and the injury woes that have hit the Elks lately, which is not good. However, they're 5-1, and it's going to be a great game on Thursday in Sask, and then they're going to do it all over again here in Edmonton on August 1st. That's going to do it for the Tom Gazzola Show. Thank you to everybody who listened, everybody who watched. We appreciate it. Maybe you're going to listen later on podcast. Thank you so very much. Great lineup of guests. We're going to do it all over again tomorrow. For Brandon and Josh Fenwick, I am Tom Gazzola saying have a wonderful day, everyone. Here's a sports update with Brandon Douglas, brought to you by Sean Cunningham of RE/MAX Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Have a great day, everyone. Here's Brando.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Full set of games in the major leagues of baseball today, including the Blue Jays opening a set at home against the division rival Tampa Bay Rays. Dylan Cease on the bump for his first start post All-Star break. First pitch coming just after 5 o'clock. Catch that game right here on Sports 1440. Joined in progress at the conclusion of the Jason Gregor Show. Elsewhere, Yankees open a set hosting the Pirates. Orioles are in Boston against the Red Sox for a divisional matchup from Fenway Park. The Seattle Mariners taking on the Reds in a nightcap game. And the Angels and Cardinals round out the evening slate. 4 games in the WNBA today, including the Toronto Tempo at home, taking on the Aces. Tip-off 6 o'clock from the Coca-Cola Coliseum. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is The Frenzy with Hallie and Douglas. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440.